Chapter 22-29. Sima Yue shook her head. Ming didn't give her a time limit. Although he didn't say it, it's only for these few years. I'll go to the Devil Realm to take a look. If the situation there is good, I'll bring them back. If the situation isn't good, I'll let them stay there for a while. I just don't know how long it will take for him to mold their bodies. If it takes a long time, I'll go over there to accompany them. They were her own children. She had to watch them grow up by herself. Every process in life couldn't be repeated. She had already missed the 2 years of their growth. She didn't want to miss the future. It's good that you have a plan in mind. Mother big sister. Sima Zi boldly and eagerly ran over with his short legs, immediately diluting the sadness from before. Sima Yue stayed at home for a few months this time. In these few months, the black-robed men's stronghold was either destroyed or they received orders to leave for the divine realm. For a time, the black-robed men who once caused unrest in the continent disappeared. Sima Yue felt a little absent-minded when she thought about it. The entanglement with the black-robed men started when she was still in the heavenly sect. After more than 100 years, they suddenly disappeared. She felt that it was too unreal. But thinking about Xian Qiuhe's purpose, she knew that the black-robed men's matter wasn't really over. They just changed a place to wait for her. When Sima Luxian and the others came back, she stayed at home for more than a month before leaving for the Devil Realm. When she came to the Bloody Passage again, she remembered what happened in the past. She saved her master here. She went to the Devil Realm with Wu Lingyu here. After experiencing the Devil Realm, she met Ba Jiazi and a few other friends. She didn't know what she would experience this time. When she passed through the Bloody Passage, she happened to see the people from the Devil Realm fighting with the guards. She didn't want to kill people. After all, Wu Lingyu was in the Devil Realm now. These people might be his subordinates. She just wanted to chase them away. Just as she was about to make a move, she heard the people from the Devil Clan talking. How unlucky. If we knew we would be in a tough battle here, we might as well stay in the Devil Realm to deal with those rebels. People from the Devil Tower. Her eyes flashed, and a fire dragon condensed in the air, quickly flying towards those devils. The moment the fire dragon flew out, many small swords formed in front of her and followed the fire dragon. The people of the Feng clan could not hold on any longer. This battle had already lasted for a few days, but this time, there seemed to be a lot of demons. No matter how hard they tried, they could not kill them all. Instead, they were already exhausted. Just when they thought that they were going to lose today, a fire dragon flew over from behind them, burning more than half of the demon claness to death. Then, those small swords pierced into the forehead of the remaining demon claness, and the power contained in the small swords immediately disintegrated them. The Devil Clan, who had just made the Feng clan fight bitterly, was annihilated just like that. The members of the Feng family were still in a daze. Sima Yue flew over and glanced at them. Seeing the symbol on their clothes, she did not expect to meet people from the Feng family here. Thank you for saving us, Senior. The leader of the Feng family expressed his gratitude to Sima Yue. It's nothing. Sima Yue said. May I know Senior's name? When we get out, we will definitely thank you. There's no need. You are my master's clansman, so it's natural for me to save you. I still have something to do. Goodbye. Sima Yue said and flew into the depths of the bloody tunnel. The people of the Feng clan looked at her back and guessed her identity, who was so powerful that she was related to the Feng clan. That's Sima Yue. Someone recognized her and shouted while pointing at her back. Sima Yue? Are you sure? Yes, it's her. She's the disciple of Granduncle Xing. I didn't expect her to be so powerful. Her strength is already at the paragon level, right? How old is she? Chapter 22-30. What was this city called? They didn't know much about it the last time they came. It was mainly because she was targeted the moment she arrived. Then Little Dream directly took care of those people and they left. This city wasn't big. When the three of them entered, they immediately attracted the attention of others. But this time, no one dared to come up to them. What a joke. To be able to transform into such a good appearance, her strength was also first class. Although she looked good, her strength was also good. Whoever dared to provoke her, She would teach them a lesson. Sima Yue didn't deliberately hide her whereabouts. With her current strength, there was nothing to hide. Anyway, no one would be blind enough to offend her in such a small place. After staying in the inn, she released the scarlet bees to scout for information. Then she let Huahua and Little Dream wander around. Before she could rest for a while, Little Dream and Huahua ran back. Yu, something big happened. Huahua patted her chest and said, "What's wrong?" Sima Yue looked at them. They had only gone out for a while, and they came back in such a hurry. They even looked anxious. The Scarlet Bees hadn't sent back any news yet. Mo Lu sent 1,000,000 demon soldiers to attack Brother Lingyu. Huahua said, "I heard that those people are very strong." That's right. Mo Lu also released news that this time, they will definitely destroy Brother Lingyu and the others. Although I didn't care much about the outside world in the past, I still know about the demon army. Mo Lu sent out a very strong army this time. Little Dream said worriedly. So they know Lingyu's whereabouts? Lingyu has taken down many cities here, and is now facing off against Mo Lu. But their territory is much smaller than Mo Lu's. So their situation is very bad. Huahua said the news she just heard. The two of them wanted to go out and ask around, but they didn't expect to hear such important news as soon as they arrived at the inn's hall. Yu, let's talk about my revenge later. Let's go find Brother Lingyu. Little Dream said. Sima Yue didn't expect Wu Lingyu to directly bring this matter to the surface, and even occupy a mountain here. But this made it easier for her to find him. It's useless for us to go find him now. Sima Yue thought for a while. But we need more detailed information. This hall isn't enough. Yu, what do you think? Let's go and see if we can get some information from the system. Sima Yu smiled. Before that, we have to do some preparations. That night, in the city lord's mansion, the city lord felt a little tired and went back to sleep without finishing the work at hand. After a while, 3 people's figures Yu. If this is really useful, he's sleeping so soundly. Floey glanced at the unconscious city lord. This is specially made for the demon race, so the effect will naturally not be bad. However, this can only make him fall asleep. The rest depends on Little Dream. Little Dream's hands formed a seal. Faint ripples came out from her palms and directly entered the city's body. Then she said to her, "He's already in a sweet dream. You can come." Sima Yue came to the city's side and placed her index finger between his eyebrows. Then she sent her divine sense into his sea of consciousness and read his memories. As the city's lord of a small city, he didn't know much, but he still knew some important information. For example, Wu Lingyu's forces in the demon world these years. For example, which cities they ruled now, which powerful races lived in these places, etc. She especially paid attention to those races, the ones that exterminated Little Dream's clan. After reading enough, she withdrew her divine sense and went to his study. She found the huge map, and then left the city's residence with Little Dream and the others. In order to not cause trouble, they left directly and came out of the city in a desolate place. Yu, why did you bring this with you? Huahua looked at the map in her hand and asked in confusion. Wu Lingyu had given her a map of the demon world before. Why did she take it away and let the city's lord know that someone had broken into his study? Although the city's lord isn't a big deal, the map in his hand is a treasure. If he didn't keep a low profile, this thing might not be in his hands right now. Sima Yue opened the map after speaking and showed it to Huahua and Little Dream. Huahua and Little Dream went over. They saw that this map was no different from other maps. It only marked some mountains, rivers, and important cities. The magical place is here. Look. Sima Yu placed her finger on a spot and inserted her spirit energy. The entire map seemed to come alive, projecting the place her finger touched into the air. Furthermore, it was magnified by 100 times. Even the surrounding small towns were marked out. There's actually a world like this. Huahua and Little Dream exclaimed. Sima Yue changed her finger into a palm. After inserting spiritual energy, a huge map appeared in front of them, detailing the area covered by her palm. How can there be a map like this? It was so detailed it was unbelievable. It said that an almighty made it for the woman he loved. Sima Yue said emotionally. It said that the woman he loved wasn't very healthy and couldn't follow him around the world. In order to let his beloved know the outside world, he began to make this map. Later on, the woman died, but he didn't give up until his death. What a touching story. Hua Hua and Little Dream sighed. After that, this map went around in circles and ended up with the city's lord. Sima Yue said, "There's also information about the places where the races live. Let's find those places first. Then we'll know how to get there without a map." Are you going to give this map to Brother Lingyu? It's fine if he just wants revenge, but now that things have come to this point, it's more convenient for him to have this. We don't have any use for it anyway. Sima Yue found the places where the races that participated in the killing of the Nightmare Clan were. She even memorized the introductions before keeping the map. Yu, are we going to find Brother Lingyu now? No, we're going to Yuliang City. Yuliang City? Isn't that the place of the Demon Wolf clan? Yu, Brother Lingyu isn't in a good situation now. Let's go help him first. We'll talk about revenge later. Sima Yue smiled. We're going to help him, but revenge won't be delayed. Chapter 2231. After looking at the map, Sima Yue realized that the demon realm was vast and boundless. The places where people lived were also divided into regions like the human realm. However, they were not divided into inner and outer regions like the human realm, nor were they divided into soul regions, ghost regions, and hell like the ghost realm. Instead, they were like provinces in her previous life, but for convenience, they were called ridges. This might be because the demon realm had always been under the rule of the demon king. Sima Yue calculated that there were a few thousand ridges in the demon realm. Wu Lingyu's subordinates were probably less than 1,000. Thinking about the situation he was facing, it was indeed a serious one. This serious situation was not without a breakthrough. As long as the Demon King and Mo Lu were destroyed, this matter would be much easier. There were not many outstanding members of the royal family. However, this was too difficult. Otherwise, Wu Lingyu would not have been troubled for so many years. Wu Lingyu had powerful demonic beasts by his side, but as the Demon King who ruled the entire demon realm, he naturally had such power in his hands. If they really clashed, no one knew who would win or lose. Moreover, Mo Lu was the reincarnation of the person who harmed the domain realm. He was not easy to deal with. Thinking about Wu Lingyu's current situation, she could not imagine how he found time to accompany her every time, especially after such a long time in the ghost realm. Although he would occasionally disappear to deal with matters, thinking about the situation, she did not know how much he had suffered in exchange for such companionship. Yuliang City was the largest city in Yuliang Ridge. It was also an important place for both sides to fight over because Yuliang Ridge was rich in resources. The demon realm was barren. A place like this would definitely be controlled by both sides. Therefore, Wu Lingyu wanted to seize this place. With this place, they could solve their current urgent situation to a large extent. Similarly, Mo Lu sent many people to guard this place to prevent Wu Lingyu and the rest from coming to seize it. For this place, both sides had fought many battles. Wu Lingyu had sent people to attack many times, but they were all unsuccessful. The one guarding Yuliang City now is the clan leader of the Demon Sky Wolf clan. Sima Yue said. It is said that this clan leader is very strong. The people sent by Lingyu were completely helpless. Let's go meet him. I'll collect some interest for you first. Without the chief, it will be much easier to deal with the Devil Sky Wolf clan. Sima Yue explained to the two of them. This information was obtained from the memories of the previous city lord. This was just right. Not only did it satisfy his goal of avenging Xiaomeng, but it could also help Wu Lingyu find a good place. But even if we take Yuliang City, we won't be able to stop the millions of soldiers of the royal family. Little Dream was still worried about this. Among the millions of soldiers, the most troublesome ones are actually the commanders. The soldiers below were just there to make up the numbers. What we need to deal with are the more powerful ones. We don't have to worry about the low-level soldiers, since they don't have a commander. Sima Yue analyzed. That's true. However, there are many people below the demon tower, and there are many powerful people as well. It's enough to give Big Brother Lingyu a headache. Little Dream said. Lingyu isn't powerless. Sima Yue wasn't worried, or rather, she had absolute confidence in Wu Lingyu. No matter what kind of danger it was, he would be able to resolve it. What she needed to do now was to help him resolve these problems. Since they had decided to go to Yuliang City, they didn't delay any longer. They found the location of Yuliang City on the map, estimated the distance, and rushed over with their small thrones. On Wu Lingyu's side, he was also having a headache over Yuliang City. We've searched the entire demon tower over the years. As long as we get close, we'll be discovered by that old man from Demon Sky Wolf. They're probably afraid that we'll try to take over that place again, so they sent more people over. It's really difficult to take over that place now. Ba Langqi, the leader of the Black Jade race, sighed. King, we have to think of other ways to take over Yuliang City, Hua Di added. Hua Di chimed in from the side. Regardless of whether it's the current situation or the momentum, we have to take down Moonliang City. I understand. How could Wu Lingyu not know the importance of Yuliang City? Not only him, but the Demon Tower also knew. That was why it was so difficult to take over. It wasn't that he hadn't thought of doing it himself, but if he did, the other side would do the same. The royal family had been passed down for so many years. His side still couldn't win. Therefore, if he wanted to quickly resolve the situation here, he had to start with the Demon Tower. At this moment, a greeting came from outside. Soon the silver-haired, silver-eyed Hong Yuan walked in wearing a red cloak. High Priest, Hua Di, Ba Langqi, and the other elders in the room all bowed to Hong Yuan. Hong Yuan nodded and bowed to Wu Lingyu. Then he said, There's something wrong with Yuliang City. What did you predict? Wu Lingyu asked. As a priest, Hong Yuan was actually similar to diviners like Little Helper. He could predict some things, but his divination ability wasn't as good as Yin Lin and Little Helper's. Hong Yuan shook his head slightly. Previously, I divined that Yuliang City was very important. It was the turning point of our victory. Therefore, I said that we had to take it no matter what. But just now I divined again, and I couldn't see anything. Something must have changed. Something changed? Is that good or bad for us? Ba Langqi asked in shock. From the divination, it's not bad. But if I can't see anything, I can't come up with a countermeasure, Hong Yuan said lightly. We still have to send someone to take a look. I'll go, Hong Yuan said. Hong Yan said. Seeing Wu Lingyu's disapproving look, her icy cold face softened quite a bit as she continued. Demon Tower's millions of troops have been sent down. General Sui has already brought people over. My king, you naturally have to stay here and lead the charge. The patriarchs also brought people with them and can't go. It's best for me to go now. He didn't bring anyone with him. It was just right for him to go there. But, won't it be too dangerous for you to go? Hua Jing said worriedly. Hong Yuan used to be a subordinate of the Demon Tower. Now that he came to their camp, the Demon Tower treated him as a traitor. If they found out that he went there, wouldn't they torture him to death? I divined for myself. It's scary but not dangerous. There's no need to worry. When Hong Yuan said this, everyone swallowed their words of persuasion. But it's still too dangerous for you to go alone. Hua Jing, bring some people with you, Wu Lingyu instructed. Yes. Although Hua Jing wanted to stay and fight, being a priest with Wu Lingyu was different. He had to protect Hong Yuan's safety. Hong Yuan didn't object. What he didn't say was that the divination he divined for himself was extremely ominous. But in the end he could turn the misfortune into a blessing. It was good to bring some people with him. So he accepted the order and brought Hua Jing to Yuliang City. Chapter 2232. Sima Yue didn't go directly to Yuliang City. The situation there wasn't good. If she went there like a headless fly, it wouldn't be a good thing. They came to an inconspicuous city, near Yuliang City. It was close to Yuliang City, but because it was too close, it couldn't compete with Yuliang City for resources and didn't develop. Even so, it was much better than the places they had seen before. No wonder both sides are fighting for this place. I can feel it's different from other places. Sima Yue said emotionally. Yuliang Ridge had green mountains and clear waters. There were even a few mines on the small throne. For the demon world, which was poor in resources, it was a piece of juicy meat. Let's go into the city to find out. The place they came from was still quite far from the city. They wanted to go there quietly. However, before they entered the city, they met an old acquaintance outside the city. It was an old acquaintance who was in a sorry state. Bajiazi felt that she was in trouble this time. Not only was she going to be caught, but she would also be a burden to Huaxiao and the king. The demon building had already sent an army over. She couldn't be a burden to her family and the king at this time. If she was really going to be caught, she would rather self-destruct. Her heart sank when she saw that her pursuers had caught up and surrounded her. These people were all ruthless and much stronger than her. It seemed like there was only one path left today. I didn't expect someone to send you food the moment we arrived. Since it's like this, Hua, you don't have to be polite. The clear voice made Heiyu's eyes light up with hope and even more disbelief. She turned her head and saw the person sitting on the man-eating flower king smiling at her. Yue. It's really you. Heiyu's eyes lit up. She thought that she was going to die today. She didn't expect the person who shouldn't have appeared to save her life. Hua flew a flower in front of her. She jumped on it and let the Hua send her in front of Sima Yue. As for the people chasing after her, there was Hua, the man-eating flower king, and Xiaomeng. There was no need for her to worry. Yue, why are you here? Black Jade still couldn't believe that Sima Yue had really come to the devil realm. Didn't the news say that she was very busy? Have you dealt with the affairs in the mortal realm? Why didn't she go to the king? Yue looked at her sparkling eyes and smiled. I've just arrived in the devil world. I still have some things to deal with, so I came here first. Fortunately you came. Otherwise I would have been finished here today. Heyu rejoiced. Why are you here? Sima Yue asked. Speaking of this, the smile on Heiyu's face faded slightly. Huaxiao and I came to investigate, but who knew that before we even reached Moonliang City, we would be discovered by them. Heiyu said. We still don't know how Huaxiao is doing. We split up and escaped. Sima Yue asked about the direction Huaxiao escaped in. Seeing that most of the people here had been eaten up by Hua, she called out Mi-Er and asked him to go find Huaxiao with Hua and Xiaomeng. Tell me about the current situation. When Mi-Er and Hua brought Huaxiao back, Bajiazi had already told her about the current situation. The situation was similar to what she saw in the City Lord's memories, but she explained it even more clearly. Huaxiao had suffered heavy injuries, but he was still in good spirits. When he saw Hua and Xiaomeng, he was very surprised. However, knowing that they were here, he had hope. Yue, have you met the king since you came to the devil world? Huaxiao asked. No, he still doesn't know that I'm here. Sima Yue said. In the past, when he came to find me, he would always bring me a gift. This time, I'm here to find him, so I have to bring him a greeting gift before I go see him. When Huaxiao heard this, he knew that she didn't come here casually. His eyes lit up. You want to take down Moonliang City? Sima Yue nodded. Bajiazi also told me that you guys have been having a headache over this place for a long time. I can't say that I'm confident, but I can still help. With you here, we can definitely do it. That's right. If you come, we won't be afraid of being punished when we go back. Huaxiao and Bajiazi had high confidence in her. They felt that if she wanted to do something, there was nothing she couldn't do. Sima Yue didn't expect them to trust her so much. She smiled and said, You two snuck here? If they hadn't snuck here, why didn't they have any powerful guards? They weren't ordinary people either. Huaxiao and Bajiazi looked a little awkward. Yue, you didn't tell the king that you came to the demon world, but you want to help him take down Moonliang City. You want to give him a surprise, right? We won't reveal your information, but you can help us when the time comes. Bajiazi said with a smile. If you two are fine, your clansmen won't really blame you. Sima Yue didn't make things difficult for them. They were friends, so helping them out was no big deal. Thank you. Yue, you're the best. Bajiazi held her hand. When are we going to Moonliang City? With the two of them, Sima Yue didn't have to go to the city to find out more information. They decided to change their route and go directly to Moonliang City. However, Huaxiao's injuries were quite serious, so they called for flying beasts to rush over. He could also recuperate on the way there. Moonliang City was now on high alert, but it hadn't reached the point of being sealed off. Perhaps the old man from the Demon Sky Wolf clan was stubborn and felt that no one could touch him. Sima Yue and the rest disguised themselves outside the city. Black Jade's fur was dyed with dye. Huaxiao was easy to do. He had always appeared in human form. Now he just grew some fur and used Sima Yue's pill to change his aura. No one would recognize them. As for herself, she fused with me air and transformed into an appearance similar to Huaxiao. Hua and the rest returned to the Spirit Pagoda for the time being. The three of them entered the city. The guards naturally questioned them. Sima Yue didn't need to say anything. She just followed behind Huaxiao and acted as a servant. Although Huaxiao wasn't as good as his brother, he was still able to deal with the guards after traveling for so many years. Thus, although they wasted some time, the three of them entered the city safely. If not for Sima Yue, they wouldn't have dared to enter. If they were discovered, the two of them would be captured. Ba Jiazi was the princess of the Black Jade clan. If she was captured, she would be used to threaten Ba Langqi. This wasn't a small matter to them. Even if nothing happened in the end, it would still affect their status. Now that Sima Yue was here, the two of them weren't afraid of anything. Chapter 2233. The three of them entered the city. In order not to attract attention, they strolled around the bustling streets like normal people and bought some herbs. Then they went to find an inn to stay in. Once they were in the room, Sima Yue set up a barrier to prevent their voices from being heard. This place is indeed heavily guarded. I have never seen patrolling soldiers in a city before. Sima Yue thought about the few waves of patrolling soldiers she saw on the streets. Moreover, they were not weak. Furthermore, they used their divine senses to scan the city. She knew that this place was indeed a tough nut to crack. That's not all. The defensive array here is the best I've ever seen. Previously, when so many of them tried to attack it, they didn't even budge the defensive array in the slightest. Heyu said, "It's because of this defensive array that our people always return in defeat." The defensive array blocked Wu Lingyu's people outside. Even if they could not defeat them, they could hold on until reinforcements arrived. Defensive array. Sima Yue smiled faintly. Perhaps we can start from there. You want to break their defensive array? Easier said than done. Huaxiao and the rest had seen that array before. That time, so many people had not been able to break it. If they wanted to break it, it would not be easy. You two came here. It can't be just the two of you, right? Are there any of your people here? Or are you able to contact them? Sima Yue asked. When Huaxiao and Heyu heard her say this, they looked at each other and nodded. We left some people behind, but they are not very strong, Huaxiao said. Mine too, Heyu said. However, I know that some of the king's people have not left. Their strength is not bad. Not bad. Sima Yue rubbed her nose. Do the people over there listen to you? Heyu and Huaxiao shook their heads. They were not their people. Why would they listen to them? Yue, what are you trying to do? If they only relied on a few people to attack, they would not be able to do anything to the array. What was the use? Therefore, this was definitely not her intention. I don't want them to destroy the array, but I want to see what the array looks like first, Sima Yue said. It hasn't revealed itself yet, so I can't see what the array looks like. You want to attack from the array formation? Do you know array formations? Huaxiao asked. As long as this array is activated, I will be able to study its array patterns, Sima Yue said confidently. She was originally quite accomplished in array formations, and she had learned so much in the Ghost Realm's hidden sect. She had thoroughly studied ancient array formations, so she was quite confident in this. However, when ordinary people came, Mo Tianlang, that old fellow, would not activate the formation. She had ancient war souls with her, but once they appeared, she would be exposed. Wu Lingyu would at least know that she was here. If he dropped what he was doing and came to look for her, it would mess up his original plan, and she would be more of a hindrance than a help. Heyu and Huaxiao pondered for a moment before saying, I'm afraid it won't be that easy for them to activate the defensive formation. Even if they manage to contact those people, with their strength, it won't be time for them to activate the defensive formation. Let's think of another way. If there was no other way, they could only let the ancient war souls come out. Yu, I have an idea. Little Dream said from the spirit pagoda. Sima Yue called her out and said, "What idea do you have?" "I can control a group of people to attack Yuliang City," Little Dream said. "With my current strength, controlling a few powerful people is not a problem. Together with those people outside, I'm sure they will think that an army is approaching and activate the defensive formation." Sima Yue looked at Huaxiao and Heiyu. The premise of this plan was that they still needed the help of those people. "This will think of a way." Huaxiao gritted his teeth. If they could break the defensive formation, then they wouldn't have to worry about not being able to attack this place. Therefore, even if they were to be punished, they had to think of a way to try. "Then I'll have to trouble you." Sima Yue smiled. "Be careful when you enter or leave the city." "Hee, actually we don't have to go out. We have people here. It's just that we didn't plan to look for him before." Huaxiao said, "Let's go over now." Huaxiao and Heiyu went out while Sima Yue waited in the inn. She released many scarlet bees to see if she could gather any useful information. Very quickly, Huaxiao and Heiyu returned. Both of them had their heads down, and there was another person following behind them. "Yue, this is General Ji. He's in charge of Yuliang City. Those people all listened to his orders," Huaxiao said. Sima Yue looked at them and knew that they had not managed to convince this person. "I'm Jizai. May I know who you are?" Jizai sized up Sima Yue from the moment he entered. Although she looked similar to Huaxiao, he did not think that anyone could order Huaxiao around. Only then did Sima Yue know that Huaxiao and Bajiazi did not reveal her identity. She wanted to say that she was one of Wu Lingyu's people. However, since this General Jizai was in charge of such an important matter in Yuliang City, and could even cause Huaxiao and Bajiazi to lose their spirits, it meant that his position in front of Wu Lingyu was not low. How could he not know Wu Lingyu's people? "I'm Bajiazi's friend. I heard from her that the array here is hard to break, and this is a headache for you guys, so I'm here to help her. You can call me Siyu," Sima Yue said. "That method won't work," Jizai rejected without thinking. Huaxiao and Bajiazi were both anxious, but they were afraid of him and swallowed their words. Sima Yue was not anxious. She smiled faintly and said, "No, you don't think that this method won't work. Otherwise, you wouldn't have come with them to see me. You're just here to see who gave them this idea. Do they really have the strength to break this defense array? Are they exaggerating? Am I right?" Jizai stared at her and did not answer her. Sima Yue didn't care and continued, "You don't have to worry that I'm someone sent from the other side. For this matter, the main force is me and my underworld beast. Your people are just putting on an act behind us. Even if they don't succeed, they won't hurt your people. This is not an ordinary favor. Why are you helping us?" Jizai did not believe her. "Because Bajiazi promised to bring me to see your king after this matter is done." Sima Yue found a reason that was not a reason. However, Jizai did not think so. What else could a woman who wanted to see their king be after? Sima Yue had already been labeled as a social climber in his heart. He raised his head and looked at Bajiazi. Bajiazi nodded, indicating that what she said was true. She was their princess consort. After this matter was over, wouldn't she be going to see their king? This was not wrong. Chapter 2234. In the end, Jizai agreed to Sima Yue's request because he had no other choice. He was ordered to attack Yuliang City. Seeing that Mo Lu had already sent out 1,000,000 soldiers, and that he had yet to complete his task, he was extremely anxious. Hence, no matter what Sima Yue's motive was, he did not care as long as he could break this array formation. Since he had made his decision, he brought Little Meng out. He went to instruct the demon soldiers outside while Little Meng went to find a target. She and Sima Yue both knew that if she acted like this, the other party would definitely discover her aura. But she did this to tell the old man of Demon Sky Wolf clan that she, the only survivor of the Nightmare Demon clan, was back. She was back for revenge. One day later, Little Meng transmitted a message to Sima Yue. telling her to get ready. Not long after, they heard the sounds of an attack outside. As her strength increased, so did her beasts. Little Meng was already strong to begin with, but now she was even stronger. Among the people she controlled, one of them was actually a supremacy. The rest of them were not weak either. Adding Jizai's men, their numbers did seem to be quite large. Demon Sky Wolf Clan's patriarch, Langya, did not panic at all when he heard that someone was attacking the city. Those people had attacked so many times, but none of them worked. But this city could not be destroyed by them. Otherwise, how could they answer to the Demon King? He instructed his men to activate the defensive array, and then led his men to fight. The moment they left the city, Jizai's men fled. This scene made the guards of Yuliang City unable to react. They fled so quickly? Were they just here to play? Only Demon Sky Wolf looked in the direction that those people fled with a dark expression. If he did not sense wrongly just now, his men saw that something was wrong with him, and did not dare to call him. After a long while, Langya ordered his men to retreat. At the same time, he sent out his own clansmen, who were also his confidants. Sima Yue had been standing on the street the entire time Little Dream, and the others had made their move. Hua Xiao and Ba Jiazi stood on either side of her. No one dared to say a word for fear of disturbing her. Before the formation was turned off, Sima Yue told the two of them to go back to the inn. Then, she locked herself in the room, and only opened the door a moment before Xiao Meng and the others came back. "Yu, we're back." Xiao Meng's expression was not very good. She nodded at Sima Yue and stood beside her without saying anything. Sima Yue knew that Sima Yue was in a bad mood because she could not take revenge after seeing Langya today. Jizai stared at Sima Yue and asked, "Can you tell?" Although they had retreated early, there were still a few casualties. If it was useless, then these people would have died for nothing. Fortunately, Sima Yue nodded. She waved the paper in her hand and said, "I've calculated the position of each formation stone. However, I've checked and found that each formation stone is guarded by someone. We have to quietly destroy the formation stones and not let them find out. Otherwise, it would be a waste of effort to replace them. Give me the location, I'll do it. I won't let them find out," Jizai said confidently. Sima Yue told him the location, and then asked him to send the news back after he succeeded. Then they would send people to take over. Jizai saw that she was so confident and frowned. "Even if we break the formation, it won't be that easy to take control of this place. I'm afraid that the king will not send anyone to attack this place." "It's okay, we don't need many people. We just need to find a few people to take over. We're not here to fight," Sima Yue said. Fighting a war and defending a city were two completely different concepts. The strength needed was also completely different. They only needed a few people to take charge of the situation and a few soldiers. How is that possible? Let's not talk about anything else. That Langya alone is enough to give us a headache. Not to mention, there are so many guards here. How can we take them all down? Jizai was in disbelief. "Don't you have so many people? Those people are enough," Sima Yue said. "Sometimes when two armies fight, it's not about who has more people. We have to be smart. As for Langya, you don't have to worry about him. We'll take care of him." Speaking of Langya, her tone turned cold and her body emitted killing intent. Jizai was a little shocked. Did she have some conflict with Langya? Hua Xiao, Ba Jiazi, you two follow General Jizai for the next few days, Sima Yue said to the two of them. If Langya found out about Little Meng, he wouldn't let her go no matter if the news spread. If Hua Xiao and the rest followed her, they would be in danger. "We'll follow you," Hua Xiao said worriedly. Yuliang City was so dangerous. How could they leave her alone? "No way. I have my own plans. You guys will delay my plans if you stay here." Sima Yue rejected them firmly. Ba Jiazi wanted to agree, but was suppressed by Sima Yue's gaze. She could only agree unwillingly. Although Sima Yue was a friend, she was also a princess. They couldn't disobey her orders. Jizai looked at the three of them, and his brows furrowed even tighter. He brought Hua Xiao and Ba Jiazi out of the inn. Once they reached the place where he was staying, he asked, "Who is that? See you? Don't say that she's a friend. I still have some sense." Ba Jiazi and Huaxiu's personalities weren't easy to talk to. Furthermore, it didn't seem like a friend's request, but more like an order. Ba Jiazi and Huaxiu were stunned. She was the first to react, saying, "She's my friend, but she's stronger than me. It's normal for her to be more forceful. Also, that's for our safety." "Is that so?" Jizai looked at her deeply. "I don't care who she is, but if she's up to no good. She wants to deal with Langya. Do you think she's up to no good? Huaxiu and I can vouch for her character. Don't worry." Ba Jiazi patted her chest and promised. At this time, someone sent news in. Seeing that Jizai's expression wasn't very good, Huaxiu asked, "What's wrong? Is there something wrong with the war?" "No, news just came from there. It said that High Priest is coming to Yuliang City. It should be within these 2 days." Jizai replied. "What? High Priest is coming?" Huaxiu and Ba Jiazi shouted. They looked at each other and saw the fear in each other's eyes. Why would Hong Yuan come here at this time? Shouldn't he be guarding the king? Not only them, Langya also received the news. Hong Yuan is coming? This traitor has guts. Langya sneered. Go and make arrangements. This time he won't be able to return. Chapter 2235. Just as Langya finished making arrangements to deal with Hong Yuan, the steward of the city lord's residence came in. "Clan leader, the news has been sent back." To be able to call him that, it meant that this steward was also from the demonic wolf clan. Langya responded faintly. "Clan leader, did you really feel the aura of the Nightmare Lord?" The steward asked carefully. "It can't be wrong." Langya said, "If there is any aura that I will never forget, it can only be from the Nightmare Lord clan." He had personally participated in the incident back then. He remembered very clearly how the Nightmare Lord clan was exterminated. He had personally dissected that unkillable nightmare incubus, and he had even contributed to its suppression. How could he be wrong about such a familiar aura? More than 100 years ago, someone once sensed the aura of the Nightmare Lord in the city near the Blood Tunnel. However, it was only for a moment. There was no trace of her after that. The steward said, "Will it be the same as the last time?" "It shouldn't be. She helped them attack the city, which means that she has already sided with them. Although I don't know who released her, I think she will not forget the hatred from back then. Since she knows that I am here, she will definitely not let it go. Clan leader, the Nightmare Lord clan was exterminated. If she comes back this time, I'm afraid she will use the power of the other side to take revenge. We should be more careful." The steward said. "TSK, with her little strength, she wants to take revenge?" Langya did not care about Little Dream at all. When she was suppressed back then, she was only a demon general. How strong could she be now? As for the possibility that she would use the power of the other side, what did he have to worry about? He could not wait for more of them to come and kill them to claim credit from the demon tower. "Send someone to investigate. We must find her whereabouts." "I will send someone to investigate outside the city." The steward replied. "No, focus on inside the city. The people she found are all from inside the city. This means that she is in Yuliang City. No matter what method you use, even if you have to dig 3 feet into the ground, you must dig her out." "Yes." The steward replied and immediately went to make the arrangements. He had also participated in the incident back then. Naturally, he knew about the treasures on the Nightmare Lord. Previously, he could not withstand the pressure and agreed to suppress her in the Yiling continent. Now that she was back, how could they miss such an opportunity? In the past, no matter what they did, they could not kill her. This was the secret of immortality. Just this point alone was enough to make the entire continent go crazy. They had to find her this morning. However, no matter how they searched, they couldn't find Little Dream's aura. This made Wolf Fong and the others suspect that she wasn't in the city at all. When Hong Yuan had just arrived at Cold Moon Ridge, he had encountered an ambush. Fortunately, Hua Jing had brought enough people, so they had not lost their lives on the spot. However, half of the people he had brought with him had died as well. "High Priest, we have to contact General Ji and ask him to send someone to pick us up," Hua Jing said after cleaning up the mess. The fact that they were ambushed as soon as they arrived meant that the other party had been prepared and knew that they were coming. There would probably be many more attacks on the road to Yuliang City. Jizai had people there, and had to protect Hong Yuan's life. Hong Yuan also didn't want to joke around with his life. It wasn't that he was afraid of death. The main thing was that after he died, it would greatly affect Wu Lingyu's momentum, and give Mo Lu an opportunity to take advantage of it. Therefore he could not die. He had to live. Previously, he had only sent a message to Jizai saying that he was going over. Now he was afraid that he would send someone to pick him up. When Hua Jing heard this news, he couldn't help but mutter to Ba Jiazi. Why didn't this high priest stay by the king's side? Why did he come here to join in the fun? Isn't this finding trouble for us? Ba Jiazi poked him and whispered. High priest is stronger than you, but the people sent to assassinate him are all based on his strength. He can't do anything about it. If he can't do anything, then don't come. He just brought my brother. Really? I think you're afraid that high priest will come and settle accounts with us. Ba Jiazi sat on a chair and crossed her legs, not worried at all. I say, weren't you afraid of him before? Why do you look so calm now? That's because we have a backer now. Ba Jiazi said with a smile. With Yue here, don't worry. We won't be punished. Are you sure? Of course. Ba Jiazi said confidently. Plus we're going to take down Moon's Brisk City. After that, we need someone to guard it. Right now everyone is busy dealing with the people from Mo Lu. He's the most suitable person. Normally, High Priest's whereabouts should be very confidential. How did the people from Wolf's Fang know about his whereabouts? I think there's a 90% chance that there's a traitor. Very likely. Let's wait for General Ji to come back and ask. However, if High Priest comes, Yu's secret can't be kept. That's true. When Sima Yue heard from Jizai that Hong Yuan was coming, she was stunned. When they first met, his aura was too strong and he was full of killing intent towards her. She couldn't have a good impression of him. I've already destroyed the array stone. Now I'm going to pick up High Priest. What are you going to do? To catch bandits, first catch the king. Of course, we'll start with Wolf's Fang. Sima Yue said. When you come back he'll be gone. Are you confident? She had already seen Wolf's Fang and knew his strength. Even Little Dream could deal with him herself. Then I'll leave it to you. The most important thing for Jizai now was to protect Hong Yuan. To Wu Lingyu, Hong Yuan was much more important than Yuliang City. After he left, Sima Yue sent the Scarlet Bees to investigate. Just as she was about to find Wolf's Fang to settle the score, she found out that he had already left. Thinking of the news the Scarlet Bees sent back, she sighed. Forget it. Seeing that Lingyu values you so much, I'll go and help you. With that, she disappeared from the spot. Although they sent news that Hong Yuan and Hua Jing were still approaching Yuliang City, they also suspected that someone had exposed their whereabouts, so they changed their route. The journey was rather peaceful, but they were still found by Wolf's Fang before they met Jizai. Other than Wolf's Fang, there were a few other people. They were all elders of the Demon Sky Wolf clan, and were very strong. Other than Hong Yuan who could fight with them and Hua Jing who could barely hold on for a while, the others were almost crushed. To deal with me, you've really put in a lot of effort. Hong Yuan wasn't in a sorry state after being surrounded. Of course. I didn't expect that a traitor like you would come to my territory. I'll take your head to report to the king. Without you, I'll see how Wu Lingyu goes against the king. Chapter 2236. Hong Yuan coming here was an unexpected surprise for Wolf Fang and the others. This person was very important to Wu Lingyu. Because of his guidance along the way, Wu Lingyu could occupy so many ridges and go against Mo Lu. Now that they had killed him, it would be a great thing for them. Therefore, from the moment he got the news, he had been plotting how to kill Hong Yuan. Hong Yuan was different from ordinary diviners. He had obtained the inheritance of his ancestors, and was very strong. It was not easy to deal with him alone, not to mention that he had people with him. Especially when he changed his route. In order to catch him here, they had spent a lot of energy. When Hong Yuan saw the people brought by Wolf Fang, he knew that they were planning to kill him here. He did not talk nonsense with them and directly attacked. Hua Jing did not say anything about letting Hong Yuan go first because the other party's strength directly crushed them. Even if they wanted to clean up for him and let him go alone, he would not be able to go out. Now he could only pray that Ji Zhe could bring people to rescue him. Wolf Fang's strength was about the same as Hong Yuan. He called an elder to go with him. The two of them dealt with Hong Yuan. It did not matter if they bullied him with numbers. Killing him today was the most important thing. It was okay to deal with Wolf Fang alone. Now that he had to deal with two people, he was really struggling. After holding on for a while, he was still hit to the ground by Wolf Fang's palm and rolled a few times. His long silver hair was stained with mud, and he looked a little embarrassed. High Priest. Hua Jing saw that Hong Yuan was injured and wanted to support him, but he was entangled by several opponents and did not have the energy. Hong Yuan die. Wolf Fang condensed spiritual power, preparing to give Hong Yuan the final blow. High Priest. At this time, Ji Zhe rushed over with people. Seeing this scene, he teleported in front of Hong Yuan and resolved Wolf Fang's attack. The others joined the battle. Hua Jing's group came to Hong Yuan's side. Some more to die. Wolf Fang saw the people brought by Ji Zhe and did not panic at all. Even if they came, they could not save Hong Yuan. He opened a passage in space, and soon many people came out of the space. When Hua Jing saw those people, his pupils shrank. Wolf Fang actually made such a move in such a situation. It seemed that he was determined to destroy them today. Hong Yuan, your life must stay here today. Wolf Fang said. Not only him, but everyone on Wu Lingyu's side would die here today. Hua Jing and Ji Zhe were both Wu Lingyu's capable subordinates. If they killed all three of them today, Wu Lingyu would be so angry that he would vomit blood. Leave no one alive today. Once Wolf Fang gave the order, everyone attacked together. Ji Zhe's men were lacking in numbers. Even if they wanted to protect Hong Yuan, they wouldn't be able to do so. Alas. A sigh that shouldn't have been heard by anyone in this place where the flames of war were intertwined. But it drilled into everyone's ears. Wolf Fang was shocked. There was actually someone watching from the side, and they didn't know about it. Where did this person come from? Why are you peeking from the side? Who would she help? Hong Yuan and the others were also puzzled, but they were also secretly delighted. This person was definitely not on the other side's side, and she didn't intend to help them. Otherwise, he wouldn't have remained silent in this situation. Sima Yue had been watching here for a long time. She arrived before Ji Zhe. When Hong Yuan was in danger for the first time, she wanted to take action, but when she saw Ji Zhe arrive, she didn't do anything. She thought that she wouldn't have to come forward. Who knew that Wolf Fang would bring so many people to deal with Hong Yuan and the others? This time she had to take action. She came out of the space. Hua Jing was surprised and happy to see her. Hong Yuan's eyes flashed with surprise and Ji Zhe was shocked. But the three of them had the same thought in their hearts. It was her. Sima Yue glanced at them and didn't say much. With a wave of her hand, hundreds of ancient war souls came out and attacked Wolf Fang's people, rescuing Hong Yuan and the others. Because they didn't know who she was, after those demon soldiers were rescued, they all came to Hong Yuan's side to protect him. Who are you? Wolf Fang was more shocked than Hong Yuan and the others. He was about to succeed, but another person appeared halfway. The person who will kill you. Sima Yue said. I was thinking of a way to lure you out without alerting the people of Moonliang City. I didn't expect you to give me this opportunity. I have no enmity with you. Why do you want to kill me? Wolf Fang was very sure that this was the first time he met this woman. But the killing intent in her eyes was so strong that it could melt into water. You have no enmity with me? Wait until you see this person, you won't say that. Little Meng, after waiting for so long, it's time for you to take revenge. As soon as Sima Yue's voice fell, Little Meng appeared beside her. Seeing Little Meng, how could Wolf Fang not understand? He didn't expect to meet this nightmare at this time. Wolf Fang, you killed my people back then. Today, I want you to pay with your blood. Little Meng's hatred had been suppressed for too long. After saying this, she directly attacked Wolf Fang. If it was just Little Meng alone, Wolf Fang wouldn't be worried. How old was she? She had been suppressed for so many years. How could she beat him? He was worried about the hundreds of ancient war souls. However, he quickly realized that he was wrong. Little Meng's strength was not the same as when he first met her. She was clearly on par with him. She had only been rescued from the seal for 100 or 200 years. How could she cultivate to such a powerful realm in such a short period of time? Little Meng didn't give him time to be surprised. Every move was filled with killing intent. The hatred emitted from her body made one's heart ache. Thinking of the tragic situation of her people being killed, thinking of the suffering she had suffered, Little Meng's heart felt like it was being cut by a knife. Every move was a killing blow. Her strength was about the same as Wolf Fang's, but he couldn't resist at all. Sima Yue watched for a while, and was sure that she would be fine. However, she still called me heir out to watch over her. If anything happened, he would be able to save her. She descended from the sky and landed in front of Hong Yuan and the others. Are you all okay? She mainly looked at Hua Jing. Although his injuries were more serious, it shouldn't be a big problem. Why did you come to the demon world? When did you come? Why didn't you tell the king? Hua Jing asked excitedly. Jizai was very puzzled. It seemed that Hua Jing was very familiar with her. He even said that she came to the demon world. Could it be that she wasn't from the demon world? Well, those people were all ancient war souls. She should be from the ghost world. The matters in the human world are almost settled, so I came over to take a look. Sima Yue's words made Jizai's eyes widen. Human world? She was actually from the human race. Chapter 2237. No. The king was from the human world, and this Siyu was from the human world. Hua Jing was familiar with her with respect. Could she be the princess? Hong Yuan glanced at Sima Yue lightly. That little girl had grown to such a height in such a short time. Thank you. Although he was unwilling to admit it, she did save them today. You are Sima Yue's princess? Jizai finally couldn't hold back and asked. Yes, I hid it before because I didn't want you to know my identity and treat me differently. Sima Yue said apologetically. In fact, she didn't want to reveal her identity now, but with Hong Yuan here, she couldn't hide it anymore. The others were surprised to know her identity. They all knew about Wu Lingyu and naturally knew that he went to the demon world for her. They had been curious about her before, and now that they saw her with their own eyes, they couldn't help but look at her again. Hong Yuan, I hope you won't tell Lingyu that I'm here. Sima Yue requested. Why? Hong Yuan asked. In fact, he didn't intend to tell Wu Lingyu now. Do you still need me to say it? Sima Yue asked. She just glanced at him and stopped talking, flying into the air to look at Little Dream. High Priest. Don't tell anyone about what happened today. Hong Yuan ordered. The others agreed. Hearing Langya's cry, they looked up and saw Little Dream put her hand into Langya's chest. She pulled her hand back, holding Langya's heart. That year, you tried to dig out my heart. Today, I'll let you taste the pain of having your heart dug out. Little Dream used her strength and Langya's heart broke into pieces. Langya fell from the air. He thought he would definitely kill Hong Yuan today, but he didn't expect it to be his death. It turned out that the feeling of having one's heart dug out was so painful. Today, I'm just repaying you for what you did to me. What your people did to my people, I'll pay them all back. Little Dream's voice lingered in his ears. The undisguised hatred annihilated his last bit of consciousness. After confirming that Wolf Fang was really dead, Sima Yue flew to Xiaomeng and hugged her. Yu, I really killed him. Killing Langya heralded the beginning of her revenge. This is just the beginning. We will get back at them one by one. Sima Yue patted her back and said softly. Hua Jing looked at Little Dream and said to Hong Yuan. High Priest, is that a nightmare? Wasn't their clan exterminated? Why are they still alive? The youngest princess of the Nightmare clan, because she was born with something on her body that allowed her to be immortal and indestructible. She brought disaster upon the Nightmare clan. However, she herself could not die. Thus, she was suppressed in the Yiling continent of the human realm. Later on, he found that she had been rescued by someone. She must have contracted it. In that case, the princess didn't come to the devil realm just for the king. No matter what, it's a good thing for us. Jizai said. With Wolf Fang dead, it would be much easier to deal with Yuliang City. Especially since she had so many powerful ancient war souls, it would not be a problem to take down Yuliang City. Hong Yuan looked at Sima Yue. The moment he saw her, he knew that the variable that appeared in Yuliang City was her. Sima Yue comforted Xiaomeng and kept the ancient war souls. Then she said, "Such a big commotion will probably attract people around. Let's leave this place as soon as possible. Can your people hold on?" No problem. Even if they could not hold on, they had to hold on. Otherwise, it would be even more troublesome if they were discovered. Sima Yue could also see that, so they did not go far. After making sure that no one noticed them, they found a place to recuperate. While everyone was resting, Jizai came to Sima Yue's side and said embarrassedly, "Princess, I have a presumptuous request. You want me to use the ancient war souls to take down Yuliang City?" Sima Yue said. Jizai did not expect her to be right. He was stunned for a moment before saying, "Yes." "I can't promise you." Sima Yue refused. "Why? Aren't you the princess? Yuliang City is very important to the king. Don't you want to help the king? The king has done so much for you. Don't you want to do something for the king?" Jizai was anxious and his tone was not very good. "Jizai." Hua Jing saw him getting angry at Sima Yue and scolded him. "Did I say something wrong?" Jizai did not give Hua Jing face and continued, "She has so many ancient war souls. It's enough to deal with the people in Yuliang City. As long as we can take down Yuliang City, she can clearly do it, but she's unwilling. How can such a princess be worthy of our respect?" "No," Sima Yue said. "Why?" "The ancient war souls are going to attack Yuliang City. In less than 2 days, Lingyu will know that I'm here," Sima Yue said. "If it affects the war, won't I have to take the blame?" "Yuliang City is very important," Jizai emphasized. "I know. I didn't say that I won't take it down." Sima Yue saw that Jizai did not believe her and explained, "What I said just now was that we cannot use the ancient war souls to take down Yuliang City. But we can use other methods." "You've already thought of other methods?" Hua Jing asked. "Yuliang City has many demon soldiers and powerful people. We don't have anyone. If we don't use the ancient war souls, I'm afraid it won't be easy to take them down." "Don't worry. With all of you and the people who didn't come, it's enough," Sima Yue said confidently. "You should tell us more." Hua Jing saw that Jizai was still very anxious. He knew that if he did not explain clearly, he would not let it go. "It's actually very simple. The powerful ones are their leaders. Once we take care of the leaders, the soldiers under them will be easy. Those leaders are not any weaker than Langya. I don't plan to fight with them." Sima Yue blinked. "There are better methods. Why should we fight? You mean poison them?" Jizai was not a rigid general. He knew more than just war. "I've thought of this method before, but I can't execute it. Without such powerful poisons, it would not be easy to get close to them and poison them." "You don't have to worry about this," Sima Yue said. "What you need to do is to bring your people to take care of those people. Then, you and Hong Yuan will control Yuliang City. I'm only in charge of the front part. I won't interfere with the later part." Hong Yuan heard her call him by his name and raised his eyebrows. In the end, he did not say anything. After resting for 2 days and recovering from their injuries, they immediately rushed to Yuliang City. At this time, Yuliang City was in a state of panic because of Langya's death. Chapter 2238. News of Langya's life tablet breaking only spread from the Demon Wolf clan a few days later. Everyone in Yuliang City was caught off guard. How could Langya be dead? Didn't he bring people out of the city? He even said that he would bring back the head of his enemy in 2 days. How could he be dead? Many people came to the city lord's residence to seek confirmation. They had to believe it even if they didn't want to. "We have to choose a new city lord as soon as possible. We can't let Yuliang City become a masterless city," someone suggested. "We have to report this to the king first, and let him make a decision. However, we can choose a representative first. That's the only way now." Thus, they called over all the people in the city. This was the most crowded city after the previous battle. However, the moment the acting city lord came out, he received news that Hong Yuan had brought people to attack Yuliang City. Again? Why did they choose to attack here? They probably know that the city lord is dead. That's why they chose this time. Humph, do they really think we don't have anyone? An elder snorted. Open the defensive array. Let's go meet them. This elder was the acting city lord and was the most powerful among them. No one dared to disobey his orders. Thus they all followed him to fight. They came to the sky above the city. Behind them were countless demon soldiers. In terms of numbers, they outnumbered Hong Yuan's men. With the array activated, the people in the city were not worried about being affected by the battle. They all came to the streets to watch the show. Jizai looked at the bright array and whispered to Sima Yue. Didn't you say that you broke the array? I've already done as you said. Could it be that they found out? Didn't you notice that the array is not as powerful as before? Sima Yue smiled. We have to make it look good. If they found out that the array was broken early on, wouldn't they be on guard? When you attack the array, you'll notice the difference. Jizai was skeptical. He didn't see anything different about the array. These people don't look like they've been poisoned. Ba Jiazi stood beside Sima Yue and asked. She and Hua Jing had left the city when they received news from Sima Yue. Not long after, Yuliang City fell into chaos. It will take effect in a while. Sima Yue said the same thing. Both sides didn't have much to say. Hong Yuan didn't like to talk, so he waved his hand, and the people behind him attacked them. Ba Jiazi and Hua Xiu were still a little nervous, but when they saw Sima Yue's calm expression, their hearts settled back down. They believed her. If she said that there would be no problem, then there would be no problem. Soon, they realized that something was wrong. It wasn't the other party that was wrong, but the people on their side were wrong. In the past, they would attack ferociously, but today they seemed to be dodging. It didn't seem like they were going to attack at all. Before he could ask the question in his heart, he saw the opponents who had been attacking ferociously just a moment ago suddenly fall one by one. What's going on? One by one they collapsed to the ground. They wanted to mobilize the spiritual energy in their bodies, but found that they couldn't move at all. Not only those old fellows, but the demon soldiers also fell from the sky to the ground. Seeing this, everyone on Hong Yuan's side was shocked. Although they knew that Sima Yue said that she was going to poison the other party, they didn't expect the effect to be so good. Those people were actually poisoned. Oh my god, they were all poisoned. Yue, your poison is too powerful. Ba Jiazi cried out in surprise. Even Hong Yuan's eyes flashed when he looked at Sima Yue. It wasn't that they didn't think of using poison, but they couldn't develop such a powerful poison. At most, it could only deal with those small shrimps. Moreover, the other party was very cautious. It was very difficult to poison them. Not only did she develop such a powerful poison, but she also poisoned everyone by herself. Yue, how did you do it? They looked fine just now. Hua Xiu asked the question in everyone's heart. This poison wasn't just used. When I came to Moonliang City, I started to poison those demon soldiers. They weren't very vigilant, so it was easier to poison them. As for these people, I poisoned them when they gathered to choose the temporary city lord. Sima Yue said, as long as you don't use spirit power, this poison won't have any effect. They used spirit power just now, which caused the poison to take effect. Now that they can't use spirit power and have no strength, it's up to you how you want to deal with them. She said that she was only in charge of the previous matters and wouldn't care about the follow-up matters. Now that she had done what she said, she didn't intend to participate in other matters. Jizai was very happy. He thought that Sima Yue was just saying it. He thought that no matter how powerful she was, she couldn't avoid a fierce battle today. Who knew that the process would be so easy? High Priest, how should we deal with these people? Kill them. Hong Yuan said indifferently. These people were quite strong, so it was impossible to recruit them. Once they recovered, they would be strong opponents. It was better to kill them directly. Jizai thought so too. Now that he received the order, he took a few people to kill those people. When the people in the city saw this, they were all stunned. However, they didn't panic. They still had the defensive array. The defensive array was so powerful that it could definitely hold on until reinforcements arrived. Unfortunately, The protective umbrella didn't give them any real protection because it didn't even last 2 minutes under Hong Yuan's attack. Seeing the array's light gradually dissipate, the people in the city were stunned. This array couldn't even withstand a single blow? The demon soldiers inside were also poisoned by Sima Yue. In addition, all the powerful leaders were killed. What else could the remaining shrimps resist? Later on, when the conditions were right, Hong Yuan and the others smoothly took over Yuliang City. Yuliang City, which had been a headache for many years, was taken over just like that. Their casualties were less than 1/10 of the previous time. When this news spread, it greatly inspired the people and made them more energetic to deal with the people in Molu. After Sima Yue entered the city, she didn't do anything else. Jizai went to rearrange the array and perfected the previous defensive array to make it stronger. The people who were used to protect Molu were now their protectors. When she returned to the inn, she found that Hong Yuan was waiting for her. "You did very well," Hong Yuan said. "These years your growth is amazing." "Thank you for the compliment." Sima Yue smiled. Chapter 2239. When was she going to find Wu Lingyu? She hadn't seen him for 2 years. She wanted to find Wu Lingyu as soon as possible. Previously, she wanted to avenge little Meng. Later, she found out about the situation in Yuliang City. Now that Yuliang City had been taken down, she naturally wanted to find him. "I originally planned to set up the array and go over." She meant that if he wasn't here, she might have already set off. "I'll have someone send you over," Hong Yuan said. Sima Yue was a little surprised. She thought that he came to her for some other reason. She didn't expect that it was to send her over. "No need. I can go over by myself." She wanted to go over with a small throne. It wouldn't be good if there were people around. Hong Yuan didn't know what she was thinking, but he said straightforwardly, "You can't see him without me without alerting the king." Wu Lingyu was now the king. There were layers of guards around him. If she wanted to go to his side smoothly, it would be a little difficult. "But you won't stay here? You can leave this place to Huajing and Jizai." Hong Yuan was a priest, not a city lord. Now that this place was stable, there was no need for him. Instead, he would send more people to guard this place when he went back. Since he said so, she could only stay with him and protect his safety. After all, he was still a very important person to Wu Lingyu. Bajiazi and Huajing went back together. It wasn't that they wanted to, but the 2 clan leaders wanted them to go back and be punished. Bajiazi wasn't afraid at all. She wouldn't be punished if she followed Sima Yue. Half a month later, Sima Yue followed Hong Yuan to Wu Lingyu's headquarters, the capital city. Standing outside the huge and magnificent palace, Sima Yue really felt that Wu Lingyu was the king of this world. Hong Yuan took her all the way to the main hall. When the guards in the palace saw Hong Yuan, they all bowed respectfully. Everyone was curious about the identity of the woman he brought back. In the main hall, Wu Lingyu was discussing the current situation with someone. Suddenly, his eyes lit up and the corners of his mouth rose into a smile. Without saying anything, he disappeared from where he was, giving everyone in the main hall a fright. Sima Yue also sensed him. Seeing him suddenly appear in front of her, she gave him a big smile and said, "Lingyu, I'm here." Wu Lingyu didn't expect her to really come. He stepped forward and hugged her in his arms. "Didn't I tell you not to come? Why aren't you obedient?" Sima Yue hugged him back and rubbed against his chest. "I missed you, so I came." In the past, he was always the one looking for her. Now, she was also looking for him. The people who followed him out were shocked to the extreme when they saw this scene. However, they all knew about the existence of Sima Yue. After all, Wu Lingyu was willing to give up his body to go to the ghost realm to find her. It was hard not to know about her. Other than her, there was no one else who could make Wu Lingyu act like this. That woman actually came to the demon realm to find their king. For a moment, everyone's thoughts turned 1,000 times. They really didn't want to admit that the princess consort was a human woman. Previously, when she was in the human realm, they could still pretend that they didn't know. Now that she was here, they couldn't think of how to face her. Wu Lingyu let go of her and held her hand instead. They walked towards the main hall and asked, "Why did you come with Hong Yuan?" "I came from Yuliang City," Sima Yue said. Wu Lingyu immediately understood what she meant and smiled. "I was just wondering how Lunar City, which we couldn't take down for so long, could be taken down so easily. However, you should have told me earlier. If I had told you, would you still be waiting for me here? The moment I arrived, I heard that Mo Lu sent millions of troops to attack you." Sima Yue understood him, which was why she hid it from him until now. "Besides, I went to Yuliang City to avenge Little Meng." The group of generals and clan leaders followed them back to the main hall. When they saw him bring her to sit on the throne, they restrained themselves and didn't say no. Hong Yuan sat down and said, "King, although Yuliang City has been taken down, we still need to send more people over. Mo Lu definitely won't let it go, and will send more people to take it back. We're discussing this matter and thinking of who to send," Wu Lingyu said. Now was the time of war. Everyone wanted to fight and not defend the city. They discussed for a while and decided on who to send to Yuliang City. The general accepted the order and went to make the arrangements. Sima Yue sat quietly beside him and didn't interrupt. She actually knew a little about these people. Wu Lingyu had mentioned them when they were chatting, but she didn't have any intention of interfering. "High Priest, the news you sent back previously only said that Yuliang City was taken down. How did you do it?" Finally, someone asked. Hong Yuan glanced at the person who asked. It was one of the 3 female generals, the clan leader of the Demon Fox clan, Leng Yun. Seeing the unwillingness in her eyes, he knew what she was thinking. "We didn't take down Yuliang City. All the credit belongs to the princess consort," he said faintly. "You're saying that the princess consort took down Yuliang City alone? How is that possible?" Leng Yun didn't believe it and didn't hide her thoughts. Wu Lingyu wanted to say something but was pulled back by Sima Yue. Sima Yue shook her head at him, indicating for him not to say anything. "Why is it impossible?" Hong Yuan asked. "We all know how difficult it is to take down Yuliang City. How could she do it alone?" Leng Yun's words were full of disdain for Sima Yue. Actually, she wasn't the only one who thought so. The others probably thought so too. It was just that they didn't say it out loud. "Oh, you didn't see it with your own eyes. How can you be so sure? The princess consort is a human. It's hard for her to even protect herself in the demon world, let alone take down Yuliang City. Do you know who killed Lang Ya? Could it be the princess consort?" Leng Yun didn't believe what she said. "Do you know why we were able to take down Yuliang City at such a small price? If we knew, we wouldn't be asking you. The person who killed Lang Ya was the princess consort's contracted beast," Hong Yuan said. "And the reason why we were able to take down Yuliang City so easily was because the princess consort poisoned their generals. It was also because the princess consort destroyed Yuliang City's defense array that we were able to enter the city." "The princess consort poisoned those people? How is that possible? There's no poison in this world that can poison them." "You can't, but that doesn't mean others can't." Hong Yuan glanced at her. Jealous women were really ugly. In comparison, the little girl that he used to look down on was really pleasing to the eye now. Leng Yun wanted to say something, but was pulled back by the people beside her. Others might not believe what they said, but this was the high priest. Who dared to not believe his words? Chapter 2240. After waiting for those people to leave, Wu Lingyu brought her to his palace. On the way, his face was dark and unhappy. When they arrived at his palace, Sima Yue hugged his waist and snuggled into his arms. She comforted him. "All right, don't be angry. Why didn't you let me speak just now?" Wu Lingyu saw her obedient look, and his voice was a little hoarse. However, he tried his best to look unhappy. "I know you want to protect me, but she's your general after all. They're working for you, and you're reprimanding them. Although you're protecting me, it's inevitable that your subordinates will feel uncomfortable." Sima Yu's finger lightly poked his chest. It was clearly separated by clothes, but it made his heart itch unbearably. "My woman, if I don't even have the ability to protect you, I know. Do you think I don't know what you're thinking?" Sima Yue interrupted him. "It's just that you still need to use them. It'll save you as much trouble as possible. Moreover, I don't care about that female general. I care about how the others feel. It was fine if a general was gone. However, if he scolded her, the other generals would definitely have thoughts. Compared to the princess consort who suddenly came from the human world, the former would naturally have a higher status in their hearts. Moreover, even if you scolded them, they still won't accept me. I'm not weak. You don't have to worry about these things. I'll handle it myself. Sima Yue didn't want him to worry about this. Before she came, she already knew that he was under a lot of pressure. When she saw him, she knew that he hadn't rested for a long time. Her heart ached. She didn't want him to worry about these small things. How long has it been since you rested? She pressed him on the bed. When he pulled, she threw herself on top of him. I didn't count. About a few months. A certain someone's hand started to move. So long. Sima Yue slapped his hand away. She took out a pill and stuffed it into his mouth. Take a nap first. No matter how difficult the situation is now, you can sleep for a while. Don't worry. Even if I haven't rested, I still have energy. Who told you this? Absence makes the heart grow fonder, not to mention that they had been separated for 2 years. This desire burned fiercely for the entire night. It wasn't until the next morning that he finally fell asleep with her in his arms. Sima Yue nestled in his arms and looked at his dark eye circles. She could not help but reach out to touch them. This guy kept saying that the demon realm was fine, and that he didn't need to worry about him, but he made himself so tired. She sighed in her heart, found a comfortable position in his arms, and slept with him. Wu Lingyu was fast asleep, but when she moved, he unconsciously hugged her tighter and kissed her gently on the head. After Sima Yue arrived, Wu Lingyu did not appear for an entire day. This caused the generals below to have some complaints. Doesn't this Wang Fei know how difficult the situation is now? He actually did such a thing. The angry generals did not dare to go to the king, so they had to go to Priest Darun. They knew that Priest Darun could not stand these things the most. Hong Yuan just glanced at them indifferently. Do you know how long the king has not rested? The generals were stunned. The last time the king rested was a year and a month ago. Hong Yuan did not wait for their answer. You have been persuading the king to rest. Now that he is resting, why are you making such a fuss? The generals' faces turned red from Hong Yuan's words. They only thought that the king had rested for so long because of that human, but they did not expect that the king was already very tired. At this time, Sima Yue came over. She was the one who set up the enchantment, so she knew when they came. I know that you don't accept me. You think that I am a human, and not enough to stand by Lingyu's side. Sima Yue said, now I will give you this opportunity. Whoever wins against me, I will return to the human realm, and not stay here to be an eyesore. Hong Yuan raised his eyebrows. This woman would actually do such a thing? Good. Remember what you said. Naturally. However, what I said doesn't matter what method is used. So, if I use other methods, you have to accept it. You can do that. Why not? Sima Yue retorted. No matter if I use a divine weapon or poison or a ray, as long as I defeat you, it is my strength. Don't tell me that using poison to take down Yuliang City is not really taking down Yuliang City. The generals were rendered speechless by her words. She was right. Did it not count? Of course not. Then let me experience the princess consort's strength. Lung Yun stood out first. If I hurt the princess consort later, please forgive me. Sima Yue hid her strength. They did not know how strong she was. However, they all knew that she was very young. She was only a little over 200 years old. Her strength was definitely not strong. If she wanted to use other methods, they would let her use them. Otherwise, she would say that they bullied her. Sima Yue nodded. Come. The two of them flew into the air. Hong Yuan activated the palace's defensive array to prevent it from being affected by the battle. You are the princess consort and young. I will let you have 2 moves first, Lung Yun said. There is no need. Sima Yue displayed her strength. Her high paragon strength blinded their eyes. How is this possible? The princess consort was actually a high paragon. She was only 200 years old. She was actually stronger than them who were 2,000 years old. Leng Yin did not expect Sima Yoyue's strength to be so high. However, she was also a paragon. As long as she used her methods, it was not impossible for her to compete with her. To have such strength at such a young age, she must have only cared about cultivation. This kind of person only had strength but no battle power. Very quickly, their thoughts were slapped in the face. Sima Yue did not have any battle power. Her battle power was even stronger than them who had been in the battlefield for many years. If not for the fact that Leng Yin was Wu Lingyu's subordinate, she would not have been able to last 2 minutes. Pa! A bolt of lightning struck not far from Leng Yin. It directly blasted a hole in the ground. Even after the smoke and dust dissipated, they could still feel the residual power in the air. Leng Yin was already injured by her. If this bolt of lightning struck her, everyone could not help but shiver. Sima Yue flew down. She did not look like she was in a sorry state after the battle. It was as if she had just flown in a circle. I said that you can use any method. However, General Leng did not seem to understand what I meant. It turned out that she was talking about using any method. It was funny that they thought she was acting shamelessly in order to stay. Thinking of this, they could not help but blush. Chapter 2241. Leng Yin was defeated, completely defeated. Sima Yoyue's strength caused waves in everyone's hearts. No one dared to treat her with the same attitude as before. Ba Jiazi and Hua Xiu were attracted by the commotion and looked at her in confusion. Why were they fighting? Wu Lingyu had already woken up. After Sima Yue was done, he came to her side. He did not say a word, but the generals and guards present could not breathe. Only this once. He left behind a murderous sentence and held Sima Yoyue's hand as he left. Hong Yuan thought of the time when Wu Lingyu's soul fused with hers. He was willing to risk the failure of the soul fusion to break the contract, so that she would not be hurt. This time he did not punish them for the battle with Sima Yue, because of their past friendship. He did not expect that Sima Yoyue's strength would increase so quickly. She was still so weak in the human world. In just 100 years she had grown so much. Seeing that the generals were still in a daze, he decided to help them for the sake of the big picture. Hua Xiu, tell them about Princess Consort's strength. He instructed. The Chinese had always been on good terms with Sima Yue, so they knew the most about her. When everyone else was fighting against Sima Yue, they collected a lot of information about her in the human world. Hua Xiu had already asked the guards about the cause and effect, so when Hong Yuan asked, he understood that Hong Yuan did not want him to talk about Sima Yoyue's cultivation level. He wanted to talk about other things about her. Princess Consort is an alchemist, a poison master, an array master, a seeker spirit master, a beast tamer, a doctor, and even a weapon refiner. Hua Xiu did not hold back. She is proficient in every single one of them. Don't forget that she was the one who poisoned those people in Yuliang City. She was also the one who destroyed and repaired the defensive array of Yuliang City. Hiss. She was proficient in every single one of them? Hua Xiu felt that this was not enough and continued. Do you know how she destroyed the array? It was very simple. First, she let General Ji's men pretend to attack the city, tricking Langya into opening the defense array. Then, she would experience it on the streets of the city. In less than an hour, she understood the array pattern of the array, and figured out the location of each array stone. Tell me, who among you is as powerful as the Princess Consort? That's right. The Princess Consort is so powerful, but she treats us very well. She's always been approachable and low-key. If you guys hadn't gone too far, she wouldn't have done such a high-profile thing. Ba Jiazi echoed. The generals were rendered speechless by the two of them. Sima Yue followed Wu Lingyu back to the palace. Seeing her smiling eyes, Sima Yue used her other hand to poke Sima Yoyue's nose and said, "Naughty. You know that I'm not a person who would suffer losses. Why would I wrong myself?" Sima Yue smiled and said, "Now that the problem has been solved, you don't have to worry about me anymore." "I've never been worried about you," Wu Lingyu said. "Lingyu, why didn't you ask me about the children?" Now that she had some free time, Sima Yue remembered that Wu Lingyu had never asked her why the children were not by her side. I know they're in the netherworld, Wu Lingyu said. Seeing Sima Yue's surprise, he hugged her and said, previously, I missed the children and wanted to know their situation. So I sent people to the human world to take a look. Then I found out that they were not in the human world. Some time ago, I even took the time to go to the netherworld to see the two of them. You actually went to see them? Did the netherworld agree? Sima Yue looked at him in shock. When she saw him nod, her tears fell. She grabbed the lapel of his chest with both hands. How is it, Little Knife and Yao Yao, are they doing well? Wu Lingyu reached out to wipe her tears and said softly, they're doing very well. They're very obedient and sensible. The reason why he did not mention this to her was because he knew that she would definitely cry. Now that he saw it, it was indeed so. The netherworld is so annoying. He didn't let me go but let you go. Sima Yue was jealous that he could go to see the children. If you go, you'll be sad. He comforted her. Xiao Dao and the others can already recognize people. The netherworld said that they have to look at your image every day before they're willing to sleep. Compared to them, I, as their father, am at the back. They didn't say anything about missing me. When I went, the two little fellows ignored me. Uffed. Seeing his aggrieved look, Sima Yue laughed. She rubbed her face against his clothes and left her tears on his clothes, taking small revenge on him. I miss our little babies so much. I miss them too. Wu Lingyu had never thought that he would have children one day, let alone that a small ball would affect his heart so much. I'll definitely settle the score with the netherworld later. He didn't let me go. Sima Yue sniffed. How's Xiao Dao now? Is she injured? She's fine. Her reaction is very fast. Wu Lingyu's heart ached when he thought of his daughter's appearance. However, he couldn't tell her this. Otherwise, she wouldn't be able to take it. What about Xiao Yaoyao? He's better than Xiao Dao. He knows how to take care of Xiao Dao now. When can I go and see them? The netherworld said that when they're older and the molding process is over, he'll bring them back. The premise is that we have to solve all these troublesome matters first. Then let's deal with Mo Lu. Sima Yue now had a deep grudge against Mo Lu. If he hadn't hindered Wu Lingyu and caused so many problems for him, they would have been able to see their children. Previously, she only had the idea of accompanying Wu Lingyu, thinking that it would be good to deploy according to his rhythm. Now her mentality had changed. She wanted to participate and help him solve this matter quickly. The sooner he solved it, the sooner he could see his babies. If Mo Lu knew that she had such a strong enemy because of this, he would probably be so depressed that he would vomit blood. They must have something to discuss with you since they're here to look for you. I have to go back and prepare something. Wu Lingyu saw that she was acting mysteriously and didn't let her return to his bedroom. Instead, he asked her to go to the side hall to prepare and listen to the current situation. Sima Yue thought about it and nodded in agreement. She went to the side hall and asked someone to bring a table and chair over. Then she lowered her head and started writing. When the generals came in and saw her writing in the side hall, no one had any objections. General Leng has already asked someone to take her away for treatment, Ba Longqi said. Let her have a good rest. There's no need for her to come if there's nothing urgent. Let General Ba take over her work, Wu Lingyu said. The subordinates knew that he was standing up for Sima Yue. She was the one who disrespected Sima Yue and even dared to fight with her. Although he didn't say anything previously, it didn't mean that he really didn't care. Chapter 2242. If it was before, Wu Lingyu would have defended Sima Yue and reprimanded the generals. They would have been angry. Now that he had dealt with Leng Yun, they did not have any other thoughts. After that, they reported the latest news on the battlefield and discussed some more about it. When they were done, Sima Yue came out from the side hall. She sat on Wu Lingyu's throne and handed the paper in her hand to him. I wrote these just now. Take a look and see if they are useful. Wu Lingyu looked through them, and his eyes lit up. Then he gave the papers to the people below. Ba Longqi and the others took a few each and exchanged them. The more they read, the more excited they became. Although not all of these military strategies are useful, some of them are not bad. Huadi said excitedly. Especially with the little tricks below, the effect will be better. That's right. Princess, how did you think of these? I've seen them before. Sima Yue replied. In this fantasy world, not all of the 36 stratagems would be useful, but since it was war, there would be some that would be useful. Her following little tricks were mainly to use poison, formations, and the like. She had done many of these before, but she used them to deal with a small group of people. Now she was using them to deal with a large army. It's not that we haven't considered these methods before, but there are very few poison masters in the demon world, and their levels are not high, so we can only use brute force. Now that we have Princess Poison, this method can be used. Sima Yue shook her head. The poison I used last time is very difficult to refine, so it can't be used in large quantities. So we have to be careful when using this poison. Use powerful poison for high-level ones, and normal poison for normal demon soldiers. Mo Lu also caught a few poison masters from the human world, but because they don't have dark spiritual energy, they didn't develop any useful poison. Even though Hong Yuan was no longer at Mo Lu's side, he knew the situation there like the back of his hand. In terms of professional poison masters, the human clan had more advantages than the ghost clan and the devil clan. It was expected that Mo Lu would go to the human realm to catch poison masters. Well, it was also expected that it would not work. Sima Yue continued the meeting that had already ended because of the military strategy that she presented. Unlike the previous time, Sima Yue did not only listen but also occasionally expressed her own opinions. Although she didn't say much, she would always talk about the key points every time. It was impossible to tell that she didn't know anything about the situation in the demon world a few days ago. After the meeting, she once again plunged into the spirit pagoda and began to refine poisons day and night. She didn't even have time to accompany Wu Lingyu, which made Wu Lingyu very depressed. It was fine that she wasn't in the demon realm before, but she was too far away. Now that she was in the devil realm, she was right beside him. But they didn't have time to be together. Seeing her like that, he couldn't harden his heart to reprimand her, so he could only direct his anger to Mo Lu. Therefore, they dealt with the other side even more ruthlessly. During the daily meetings, when the people below saw his gloomy face and heard his orders, they felt that he was dissatisfied. However, recently, the front line had been on a winning streak. With Sima Yue's poisons and the battle plans that she had devised, they had almost never lost a battle. Mo Lu's morale plummeted. The millions of soldiers no longer had the same morale as before. Now they didn't even dare to take the initiative to attack. When they thought about how this was all brought about by Sima Yue, they rejoiced in their hearts. Fortunately, they didn't really chase her away back then. Otherwise, they wouldn't be in such a good situation now. Hong Yuan thought of Yuliang City. Previously, Yuliang City was very important in his divination, so both sides spent a lot of effort on it. However, after taking it down, it didn't seem important anymore. Now he understood that Yuliang City wasn't the most important thing. Yuliang City was the key to their victory not because of itself, but because of her appearance there. Mo Lu's people were very sullen now. The situation was clearly good before, and the rebel army was forced to retreat. However, after Yuliang City was lost, the situation on both sides had completely changed. The people around Mo Lu didn't dare to speak loudly recently, afraid that they would be noticed by the Demon King and be used as a punching bag. They could carefully avoid it, but some people couldn't. The people kneeling on the ground were pale and sweating profusely. Mo Lu's pressure made them tremble uncontrollably, and they were about to collapse. On the throne, Mo Lu's thin body exuded a cold aura. His long and narrow eyes had a ruthless look. His body was clearly very small, but no one dared to underestimate him. You said that the rebel army took down 10 cities recently? Mo Lu's slightly homophonic voice rang out in the silent hall. The people kneeling on the ground immediately collapsed, unable to say a word. Mo Lu waved his hand, and the two people on the ground were squashed into a pool of blood. He stared at the people standing on both sides and said faintly, "Our situation was good before. Why did it become like this after I went into seclusion? Can any of you give me an explanation?" "King, we have already investigated clearly. The rebel army suddenly became so powerful because of one person. Although they were afraid, someone had to stand out. Because of one person? Are you trying to say that our loss is because there is one more person? Emolu's voice suddenly rose. He was very dissatisfied with their behavior of pushing the blame to one person. The people below all knelt down and hurriedly explained, "King, the rebel army's change is really because of one person. We have already investigated clearly. This person is the woman of the rebel army's leader, Wu Lingyu. She is a very powerful person in the human world." The person hurriedly told Emolu about Sima Yu's situation, afraid that Emolu would interrupt and punish him. After hearing the person's words, Emolu waved his hand and said, "Wu Lingyu's woman? And a human? Do you want me to teach you how to deal with such a person?" The person was thrown to the ground, but he didn't dare to cry out in pain. He crawled back and knelt down saying, "We have already sent people to assassinate her, but she has been hiding in her house. We can't do anything." That was Wu Lingyu's headquarters. There were many experts there. If Sima Yue didn't come out, they wouldn't have a chance to make a move. If she doesn't come out, then go in. Weren't there still people there before? I don't care what method you use. You must get rid of her for me. The people kneeling on the ground felt bitter, but no one dared to say no. They obeyed the order and left. Emolu looked at the spacious great hall and laughed sinisterly. "Emo Sha, do you think that just because you found a woman you can win? You couldn't win against me hundreds of thousands of years ago. Now you can't win against me either." Chapter 2243. Sima Yue handed the refined poison to Hong Yuan, and he would naturally distribute it. Hong Yuan looked at the large and small bottles she threw out, and no emotions could be seen in his silver eyes. The first time he saw it, he was a little surprised, but now he was used to it. "His Majesty left the city," he said. Sima Yue was startled, and nodded to show that she understood. "His Majesty left the city to take down Rosewood City." Hong Yuan continued, "Isn't Rosewood City the next target? Why is he going now?" Sima Yue asked in surprise. "His Majesty has been in a bad mood recently," Hong Yuan said inexplicably, but Sima Yue understood. Because Sima Yue was now focused on refining the poison, Wu Lingyu was left out in the cold. He probably couldn't wait to kill Emolu right now. She seemed to have not seen him for a few days. But in order to be together with her two babies, she had to help him quickly solve the problem here. Seeing that she understood his meaning, Hong Yuan did not say much and turned to leave. He felt that he was a worrywart. In the past, when he looked down on Sima Yue, he was worried that she would be a burden to His Majesty. Later, Wu Lingyu went to the Ghost Realm, and he had to help Wu Lingyu take care of the matters in the Devil Realm. At that time, he was quite critical of Sima Yue. Now Sima Yue came to the Devil Realm, and after meeting and accepting such a princess, he found that His Majesty was even worse, and even the people under him were not good. So he had to come here and say something. He felt that he was about to become an old woman sigh. "Princess, are you still going to take a bath today?" A palace maid came over and asked Sima Yue. Sima Yue recently had the habit of taking a bath after coming out of seclusion, so she asked this question. The palace maid quickly turned on the water in the bathroom, and waited for Sima Yue to go in before she went out. Hearing the sound of water entering, she waited outside for a while, estimated that it was about time, and pushed the door to enter. She did not expect to meet a pair of bright eyes as soon as she entered. She was shocked. How could this be? "Are you wondering why I didn't faint?" Sima Yue leaned against the side of the pool and hid her body under the petals. Her exposed collarbone was still wet. She had a smile on her face, but it sent chills down his spine. "Princess, what are you saying?" "This servant just came in to see if Princess needs anything," the palace maid replied. "You guys have spent a lot of effort to deal with me," Sima Yue continued. She went to the human realm to find such a powerful poison, and put it in the bathwater. While I was bathing, it quickly invaded my body. And I've just come out of seclusion, so I'm a bit tired, so I won't be so vigilant. It's a pity that you miscalculated one thing. What did we miscalculate? The palace maid saw that she was so clear and knew that she had been exposed this time, so she didn't hide it anymore. I am immune to poison. Sima Yue sank her body into the water and let the water reach her neck. She said lazily, "Me air, I'll leave it to you." She paused and reminded him, "Remember to leave him with one last breath." She didn't care how Me air and that person fought, as long as he wasn't completely dead. The battle ended very quickly. That person was not Me air's opponent at all, and was defeated in a few moves. When Hong Yuan heard the commotion and came over, Sima Yue directly handed him a list of names. "Here, these are the spies on your side. I don't care what you do with them." Hong Yuan knew that they had spies on their side, and also knew that there was something wrong with that palace maid, but he didn't catch her. Firstly, he believed in Sima Yue's strength, that Hong Yuan definitely wouldn't be able to hurt her. Secondly, he wanted to follow the clues and fish out more people. Sima Yue directly did what he wanted to do. He glanced at the list. Some people were within his expectations, but there were also a few names that surprised him. Seeing him raise his eyebrows, Sima Yue said lazily, "Don't worry, it's all accurate." These names were obtained by investigating the palace maid's sea of consciousness. She didn't confess it herself, so naturally, it wouldn't be wrong. Hong Yuan remembered that Wu Lingyu had mentioned this to him before. He understood what she meant and left with the list. Sima Yue really didn't care about what happened after that. She didn't even ask what happened to those people in the end. She just plunged into the spirit pagoda to refine poison. Looking at the newly refined poison, she couldn't help but sigh. Using poison to deal with those people, this method was really. But if she didn't do this, she didn't know when the matter in the demon world would be delayed. In less than 2 months, Wu Lingyu returned. Sima Yue saw him like that and knew that his situation was good. Her slightly worried heart finally relaxed. Wu Lingyu stayed in the palace for a few days. Sima Yue didn't go into seclusion during these few days, but accompanied him. A few days later, Wu Lingyu had to leave again. Sima Yue called out all her beasts. She was in seclusion, and they felt uncomfortable holding it in. It was better to let them go out with Wu Lingyu to help, and let him take them to help little Meng take revenge. Those people were mostly related to the demon building. Many of them participated in the demon army. So if she wanted to take revenge, going to the battlefield was a good choice. Little Meng's enemies naturally had to be dealt with by her personally. She originally wanted to accompany them, but in the current situation, she had no choice but to continue refining poison in seclusion. She felt guilty, but little Meng didn't think much of it. "Yu, do we still need those things between us? Besides, little Seven and little Gold are with me. You have to be careful. If there's any danger, use the power of the contract to return to the contract space." Sima Yue reminded them before letting them go with Wu Lingyu. Sima Yue saw little Meng's memories with her own eyes. At that time, Mo Sha was still contracted with her, so he saw those things too. He knew that she wanted to take revenge, and wanted to go out with him. He didn't have any objections and brought a group of beasts with him. After they left, she went back into the spirit pagoda. A few months later, Wu Lingyu returned. Sima Yue stopped what she was doing to accompany him, and he left to go into seclusion. This cycle repeated. Sima Yue thought that these days would last for a long time. So when she heard from little Meng that Wu Lingyu was facing off at the demon building, she was shocked. It had only been slightly more than 3 years. At this time, she didn't have time to think about why it was so fast. After she came out of seclusion, she took out the small throne and went to the capital of the demon world. When she arrived, Wu Lingyu had brought people to surround the palace. Wu Lingyu and Mo Lu were facing off in the air. Seeing her come out, Mo Lu didn't think and attacked her directly. Mo Lu thought that with Sima Yue's strength, she should be killed directly. This way Wu Lingyu would be in a mess. Who knew that after the power dissipated, Sima Yue was still sitting on the small throne, and Wu Lingyu didn't even make a move. Chapter 2244. Sima Yue sat calmly on the little throne. Seeing Mo Lu and the others' shocked expressions, she removed the spatial seal and calmly came to Wu Lingyu's side. Spatial seal. Her comprehension of space was actually so powerful. Mo Lu had launched his attack the moment she appeared. His speed was so fast that it should have caught people off guard. However, she was able to seal the space in such a short period of time and force his attack away. Wu Lingyu saw her come to his side and reached out to hold her hand, saying, "Why are you here?" "Little Meng and the others told me about the situation here, so I came," Sima Yue said. Wu Lingyu saw the faint worry in her eyes and held her hand tightly, saying, "Don't worry, I'm fine." Sima Yue was worried that he wouldn't be able to control his emotions when facing his old enemy. After all, the hatred was so deep. But seeing Wu Lingyu's current state, she didn't have to worry. She didn't know what Wu Lingyu and Mo Sha said before she arrived, so she didn't see them speak much when she arrived. The two of them disappeared from their original spot and went into the void. The kings of both sides fought, so the remaining people naturally fought together. Sima Yue brought her beasts to join the battle. Little Seven, Little Gold, Hei Yan Mi Air, Thousand Resonance and the other beasts from Wu Lingyu had already seen how powerful they were, so they weren't particularly surprised. But Little Birdie, Little Flame, Little Purple, Mi Air, Little Black and the others didn't go out before, and they weren't ordinary contracted beasts. One flame killed a bunch of them, and one lightning struck a bunch of them. Their battle power was several levels higher than Hua Hua and the others, making them stunned. As for herself, she had the strength of a supreme-level cultivator. When she released spiritual techniques of various attributes, it blinded everyone's eyes. Her battle power was actually so strong. Wu Lingyu's people worshipped her because of the poison. Now that they saw her being so graceful, they instantly felt that other than her, no one else was worthy of their king. So what if she was a human? Wasn't their king's body also a human? Looking at the entire demon race, no one was more powerful than her. They heard that the princess consort and king didn't have a grand wedding. Once they took down the demon world, were they going to urge the king to marry the princess consort grandly? If Sima Yue knew that these people had such thoughts, she would probably roll her eyes. They were in the middle of a war, and they still had the mind to think about other things. It had to be said that this battle would not be easy. Mo Lu had ruled the demonic world for so many years, and his foundation was there for all to see. If Wu Lingyu hadn't brought back Mo Lu's head, who knew who would have the last laugh in this battle? Wu Lingyu came back with injuries all over his body. Sima Yue went to help him up when she saw him. Seeing Yue, and Yue. The battle ended just like that. Hong Yuan led people to deal with the remaining matters. Yue brought Yues to Yues. As soon as he avoided the crowd, he fainted in front of Sima Yue. Sima Yue had long seen that he was holding on, but he had to do it for the current situation. Now that he was in a place where no one could see him, he couldn't hold on any longer. She helped him to the bed and quickly stopped his bleeding. After a series of actions, she was a little tired. Hong Yuan walked in from the outside. Seeing Wu Lingyu who hadn't woken up yet and her pale face, he said, "You are also injured. Since he is fine, you should take a look at yourself." Sima Yue smiled weakly at him, took out a medicinal pill, and ate it. When her breathing was smooth, she said, "Have you settled the matters outside?" "Not yet." Mo Lu's death left behind a huge mess that couldn't be solved in a short time. "I was worried about my king, so I came to take a look. I have to go out later." Sima Yue handed him a bottle of medicinal pills. "This medicinal pill has a good healing effect. Lingyu is in such a state now, so I have to rely on you for the matters outside." Hong Yuan was silent. He took the jade bottle, held it in his hand, and turned to leave. Sima Yue was also injured. She set up a barrier and asked Little Spirit to pay attention to the situation outside. Then, she went to Wu Lingyu's side and slept together. When she woke up, her body was already much better. She first took a look at Wu Lingyu's situation. Seeing that his body was getting better, she set up a barrier around him before opening the door and going out. She followed the connection with her beasts and came to the outside of the palace. There were many captives here. She went over and saw that the outside of the open space was filled with people who were watching the show. All her beasts stood in the middle of the field, forming a semicircle with Little Dream in the middle. At this moment, whether it was little black, me air, or the other beasts, everyone's expression was very serious. They looked at those people as if they were looking at dead people. Little Dream was in the middle, piercing the heart of the person on the ground with her sword. She didn't say anything and just stared at him until he died. At this moment, Little Fire flew one round on the ground, leaving nothing behind. Little Dream this one. Little Roar picked up a person and threw him in front of Little Dream. Little Dream looked expressionlessly at the pair of eyes that were filled with fear. She raised the sword in her hand and said, "At that time, I was as scared as you. But the fear you saw didn't have a trace of pity. Instead, you laughed non-stop. The more scared I was, the happier you were. Especially when you dug out my heart. Even if I fainted, I could still hear your laughter." The person on the ground opened his mouth, but before he could say anything, his heart was pierced. This time, the one who destroyed the corpse was Little Birdie. It was also neat and tidy. When the corpse was gone, Little Black waved his hand, and a person flew in front of Little Dream. Sima Yue stood at the same spot and didn't go over. She didn't expect that Little Black who broke the seal would also participate. Since the beasts were helping Little Dream, she wouldn't go over and interrupt them. The surrounding people who were watching the show originally saw that Sima Yue's beasts were all together, and felt that the scene was very spectacular. They didn't expect to see such a thing. Little Dream didn't hide it. Anyway, everyone already knew that she was a nightmare. It was just that they didn't know about these things. Hearing Little Dream's complaints, they all looked at her sympathetically. However, everyone was more afraid of the beasts standing behind her. Using Sima Yue's words, they looked like they were from the underworld. Their aura was very scary. Little Dream didn't know how many people she had killed. Every time she killed someone, they would help her capture another one. When she saw these people, she thought of the scene where her clansmen were exterminated. When she regained her senses, the people in the plaza were all killed. These people were the enemies that Little Black and the rest found from the captives for her. They were the people who participated in the incident that year. As for the other small fries, they were all killed by them long ago. Now that she had killed all of them, wouldn't she be done with her revenge? She didn't know why, but her tears fell. Chapter 2245. A pair of hands hugged her from behind. It was so gentle and warm. Xiaoming turned around and buried herself in Sima Yue's embrace, crying uncontrollably. "It's all in the past. You still have us." Sima Yue patted her shoulder gently and comforted her. She knew the feeling of self-blame when one's family died because of self-blame. She also knew the feeling of hatred supporting one's life. She also knew the emptiness in one's heart after taking revenge. She had experienced all of this before, so she understood it better than the other beasties. Seeing Xiaoming crying, the other beasties looked coldly at the people who were watching the show. Those people immediately left. Only a seemingly small demon hesitated before leaving. "Let's go." The person beside him urged him. He looked at Sima Yue and shouted at her. "Princess, when are you going to marry the king?" Sima Yue was stunned. That person was pulled away by his companions. At this moment, the way the beasties looked at Sima Yue had changed. The coldness from before was gone, and there was only curiosity. Wu Lingyu still owed them a grand wedding. Back then, they had secretly said that they were going to get married. Now that things were over, shouldn't they have a wedding? Sima Yue did not care about what others thought. However, when she saw the way her beasties looked at her, even Xiaoming stopped crying and looked at her with teary eyes. She could not help but twitch her mouth and said, "This matter involves the human world, the demon world, and the ghost world. It's not that easy to handle." "It's okay. We have nothing to do now anyway," Thousand Resonance said faintly. "I'll go see if Lingyu is awake. Let's go too. If he wakes up, we can mention this matter to him." Sima Yue. Although the beasties were a little embarrassed, they wanted to divert Xiaoming's attention and let her have something to do. Hence they did not say anything and brought them back. Wu Lingyu was still unconscious. She removed the barrier and went to check on him. Yu brother Lingyu is so badly injured. When will he wake up?" Little Seven was the closest to Wu Lingyu. Seeing him lying lifelessly on the bed, his playful mood faded. He's sleeping like this because his body is repairing itself. Don't worry too much. Sima Yue said, but she was worried too. She rarely saw him injured, especially when he was injured to the point of being unconscious. Although she knew that he would wake up, she couldn't help but worry. Mother! Mother! Two childish voices came from outside. Sima Yue thought she was hallucinating. Plop! A small figure tripped over the threshold and fell to the ground. Wu Qiao looked at Wu Xiaodao, who had fallen to the ground, and reached out to help her. Wu Xiaodao crawled up and did not cry or make a fuss. He patted his body out of habit and then ran into Sima Yue's embrace. Mother, we missed you so much. Wu Xiaodao said. Not me. Sima Yue was finally sure that she wasn't hallucinating. Her two little darlings had appeared. Sima Yue hugged Wu Xiaodao and kissed him on the cheek. She smiled and said, "Why are you here?" Uncle Ming sent someone to send us back. Wu Qiao came to Sima Yue's side. Although he was small, he looked very calm. He came to Sima Yue's side, but he did not let her hug him like before. However, Sima Yue still squatted down and picked him up with one hand. She kissed him on the cheek and said, "Little Yao Yao, did you miss mother?" Wu Qiao's little face turned red. His voice was much softer than before. "Yes. Mother missed you too." Sima Yue looked outside the door. No one came to reply. They must have left after sending them off. Who else could put on airs in front of her other than Ming? He even let the two little guys say that he sent someone. Mother, mother, who is this person wrapped up like a dumpling? Wu Xiaodao pointed at Wu Lingyu on the bed and asked. A person wrapped up like a dumpling? She didn't know if Wu Lingyu would cry if he heard her describe him like this. Sima Yue put the two little guys down and brought them to the bedside. She said, "This is your father. He just fought with a big bad guy and is seriously injured. When he wakes up and sees you too, he will definitely be very happy." This is father? Who injured father? Let's get Uncle Ming to deal with him. Wu Xiaodao said hatefully. Wu Lingyu went to see them 4 years ago. They were still young at that time, so naturally they didn't remember. However, Ming usually showed them Wu Lingyu's image, so in their memories he was majestic. Who would have thought that he would be so seriously injured? Wu Qiao's face was also cold. His aura made Sima Yue raise her eyebrows. She rubbed the two children's heads and said, "That bad guy has already been killed by your father. Isn't your father very powerful?" Wu Xiaodao was lying on the edge of the bed. He stretched out his small hand to poke Wu Lingyu's bandage. When he heard Sima Yue say this, he nodded vigorously and said, "Father and mother are very powerful." Sima Yue smiled. This little guy had to bring her into the praise. "Mother, when will father wake up?" Wu Qiao looked at Wu Lingyu's appearance and his small brows furrowed tightly. "He should be able to wake up in half a day. Then let's stay here and guard father? This way, father will be able to see us when he wakes up." Wu Xiaodao turned his head to ask Sima Yue for her opinion. "Okay. But we have to speak softly. We can't disturb father." She was very happy that the two children were so obedient. When Hua Di and the other generals came to see Wu Lingyu, they saw the mother and children in the room guarding the bed and whispering. There were suddenly 2 more children in the palace. What was going on? Everyone looked at Hong Yuan. Hong Yuan's eyes darkened and he shook his head, indicating that he didn't know either. However, they all stood guard outside and didn't go in. At this time Wu Lingyu woke up. Wu Xiaodao's eyes were sharp and he saw him immediately. He threw himself in front of him and said, "Father, you're awake?" Wu Lingyu saw a little face that was very similar to his own, and immediately reacted. He didn't care about the injuries on his body as he reached out and scooped Wu Xiaodao onto his body. He smiled and said, "Xiaodao, are you here to see father?" "My brother and I are here." Wu Xiaodao seemed to have an impression of lying on his father's stomach and drooling on his clothes. Sima Yue went up to carry Wu Xiaodao and said, "You're still injured." "My injuries are almost healed." Wu Lingyu sat up from the bed and took off the bandages. The injuries on his body did indeed look much better. Chapter 2246. Wu Lingyu's condition was much better, but in the eyes of the two little guys, it was already very scary. Wu Xiaodao was so scared that he cried, and Wu Qiao's eyes were also red. Seeing the two children like this, Wu Lingyu got out of bed and hugged one in each hand, saying, "Dad is fine. Look, I can even hug you." Really? Wu Xiaodao's teary eyes made his heart soften. Of course it's true. Do you think Dad will coax you? Wu Lingyu was particularly patient with the two children. At first, he didn't know that Sima Yue was pregnant. He didn't see them until she gave birth. After they were born, he didn't have time to accompany them. He felt very guilty towards the two children. Sima Yue was worried about his injuries. She went up and carried Wu Qiao down, asking, "How long can you stay this time? Did Uncle Ming say when he will pick you up?" Uncle Ming said that we are already 6 years old, so we don't have to go back for the time being. Wu Xiaodao said. Uncle Ming said that we will go back after you get married. Wu Qiao was more honest. They still had to go. Sima Yue was a little disappointed. Uncle Ming said that if you have nothing to do, you can go back with us. Wu Qiao added. Sima Yue was happy. Hong Yuan saw that Wu Lingyu had woken up, and the family was happy and harmonious. He planned to leave with them. At this time, Wu Lingyu's voice came from inside. "Come in." Hong Yuan led them in. Everyone's attention was on the two little guys. They were very curious about the two children who looked like Wu Lingyu and Sima Yue. This is Xiaodao and Qiao. They are the children Yue and I had in the human world. They are twins. They were obviously twins, but one looked like the father and the other looked like the mother. This was too amazing. Sima Yue curled her lips. It would be strange if the twins looked exactly the same. However, they wouldn't understand the difference between identical twins and fraternal twins. Greetings to the prince and princess. Everyone saluted the two little guys. Get up. Wu Qiao didn't panic. He waved his hand and said indifferently. His bearing was really like that of a prince. Wu Xiaodao imitated her mother and curled her lips. When they were in the underworld, they had encountered this kind of thing many times. Now that there were so few people, how could they panic? Seeing that the two little fellows were calm, the others were even more surprised. To have such a bearing at such a young age. It was obvious that he was not raised by an ordinary family. I didn't see the prince and princess before. How did they come here? Hong Yuan asked directly, but this was indeed the question in everyone's heart. They were born in the underworld. They came directly from the underworld. Sima Yue said. Wu Lingyu was slightly taken aback. Sima Yue glanced at him, indicating that it was fine. Dark was very open about the matters of the netherworld. From the way he sent the two little fellows over with such fanfare, it was clear that he didn't care. Hong Yuan raised his eyebrows. He knew about the underworld, but he didn't expect the two little guys to have a good relationship in the underworld. They grew up in other worlds. He knew almost everything about Wu Lingyu's relationship. In other words, the people in the underworld didn't know about the underworld, but he tactfully didn't ask again. How are things going? Wu Lingyu asked. There are still many things. Everyone was worried about your health, so they came to take a look. Since you're fine, we'll go out and continue working. Hong Yuan replied. Thank you for your hard work. Wu Lingyu nodded. Hong Yuan then left with his people. Soon, the news that Wu Lingyu and Sima Yue already had a child spread. Emolu died. There were indeed many things in the underworld. Wu Lingyu went out half a day after he woke up and didn't return for the next 2 days. Wu Xiaodao and Wu Qiao had Sima Yue to accompany them and so many beasts to play with them, so they didn't think about their father. 2 days later, Wu Lingyu returned to the palace and saw Wu Xiaodao who ran towards him but fell. He went up and picked her up, asking softly, Did it hurt? No, I have the treasure that Uncle Ming gave me. It won't hurt. Wu Xiaodao hugged her father and said proudly. Wu Lingyu raised his eyebrows. Wu Qiao came out from behind and explained. Uncle Ming refined the soft armor for her. When she wears it, once she falls, it will automatically create a barrier. But it's very thin, others can't see it. Uncle Ming personally refined it for you? Yes. Uncle Ming refined it for me. I looked at it from the side, but I didn't understand anything. Wu Xiaodao nodded and said, "Those messy things hurt my eyes just looking at them. You were the one who ran over to get those things and fell down." Wu Qiao exposed her. "Wu Qiao, I'll beat you up." Wu Xiaodao was a little angry from being exposed. She waved her little hand. Wu Qiao didn't put her threat in his eyes. The two of them weren't like other people who only started cultivating when they were 10 years old. With Ming around, the two of them had already started. Wu Xiaodao's strength was already considered an expert, but he was still far from Wu Qiao. But it didn't matter. He was a man and had to protect her. Her weakness was her weakness. Sima Yue stood at the side. When she saw her two children, she couldn't hide the smile in her eyes. Wu Lingyu also carried Wu Qiao and walked towards her in large strides. "Why did you come back at this time? Are you done with the front?" Sima Yue smiled and went to pick up Wu Qiao. Wu Lingyu shook his head. "I came back to see you guys." "Father, you don't have to come back to see us," Wu Xiaodao said seriously. "What, you don't want to see father?" Wu Lingyu's sad look was a little real. "That's not it. Father, the sooner you finish the matters in front, the sooner you can marry mother," Wu Xiaodao said in all seriousness. Wu Lingyu reached out and scratched her little nose. He found it funny. "Who told you this?" "Little Roar and the others. They said that father and mother didn't have a wedding. Only when you're done can you do it. They also said that if you don't marry mother, mother won't have a proper status. So father, if you have something to do, hurry up and do it. Then we'll go back to the human world and get married." Sima Yue's mouth twitched. These guys even told her this. In the end, Wu Lingyu stayed with them for half a day before leaving. The rest of the time was like this. Half a year later, Wu Lingyu, who hadn't appeared for more than 10 days, came back to them. He smiled at them. "I'm almost done here. Let's go back to the human world." Wu Xiaodao was small, but he understood everything. When he heard this, he was stunned for a moment before jumping up. "That's great. We're finally going back to the human world. Father and mother are finally getting married. Ah." Chapter 2247. The news that Wu Lingyu and the others were returning to the human realm quickly spread in the devil realm. Everyone was very disappointed at first. Their princess consort was like a goddess. Why was she leaving so soon? Then they heard that they were going back to get married, and that they would also invite people from the devil realm. Everyone was happy. However, they were still a little worried. The relationship between the devil realm and the human realm had always been bad. They also knew about the existence of the bloody passage. These years they had been thinking about it. If they went there, would it affect them? It's okay. It'll be fine as long as the bloody passage is removed in the future, Wu Lingyu said. Hong Yuan raised his eyebrows. Since he said so, he must have some ideas. Thinking about it, the bloody passage was because the previous devil kings wanted to go to the human realm to gain benefits, so they kept sending people there. Now that Wu Lingyu had become the devil king, he came from the human realm. Naturally, he hoped that the two sides could get along well. Not to mention that there would be no disputes after contact. Even if there were, it would only be a private matter. There would not be a large number of devil clans attacking the human clan. To be honest, the human clan was strong, and the devil clan was not weak. However, it was unrealistic to say that they would snatch the resources of the human realm. Mo Shah had already tried hundreds of thousands of years ago, and now he was more inclined to live in peace. Sima Yue also had the same idea. After all, Mo Lu was not in power now. It would be best if both sides could live in harmony. Sima Yue brought Wu Lingyu and the two children back. This news caused an uproar in the Sima family. Sima Ji Yuan personally brought them back, and even Sima Qing, the old ancestor, came out. Along with the news of their return, Wu Lingyu's identity and what he and Sima Yue did in the devil realm also spread. The holy son of the sage pavilion suddenly became the devil king of the devil realm. This news simply blew up on the road. So much so that Sima Yue and the others could hear the discussions outside even if they stayed in the family. However, the Sima family didn't care, because they had already accepted Wu Lingyu. No matter who he was, it was the same to them. The most important thing was that the two children he had with you were simply too adorable. With these two treasures around, who would care about his identity? At this moment, Wu Xiaodao, Wu Qiao, and Sima Zihao were being brought out to play by Sima Yue while Wu Lingyu and the elders of the Sima family were discussing matters in the hall. Sima Yue looked back at the three children while they were playing and shook her head helplessly. They should be discussing the marriage, right? However, he even set up a barrier to prevent her from listening. Elder sister, are you going to marry brother-in-law? Sima Zihao ran over and asked. Sima Yue was dazed for a moment when she heard the word brother-in-law. She stroked Zihao's head and asked, "How did you know?" "Everyone in the residence has spread the news. I heard it when I came over today," Sima Zihao said. "Elder sister, you're getting married. Are you going to live in the Devil Realm? Will I still be able to see you? I probably won't stay there for long. Will you be gone for many years like this time? Uncle, my father and mother have a lot of things to do. They're busy, so they definitely won't be at home often." Wu Xiaodao came over and said, "Oh." Sima Zihao was a little disappointed, but he was quickly pulled away by Wu Xiaodao to play. They discussed the marriage for 2 days. Sima Yue saw Wu Lingyu and rolled her eyes at him before turning to enter the house. Wu Lingyu touched his nose, feeling wronged. This wasn't his idea alone. How could he be blamed for this? A few days later, the news of Sima Yue's wedding in a year's time was spread out, and many forces received the invitation. This was originally good news, but it was accompanied by another piece of news. The people from the Devil Realm and the Ghost Realm would also attend. The three realms had always been like fire and water, but this time they invited the people from the Devil Realm and the Ghost Realm. This news was hard for them to accept. Those who were angrier were already protesting. But the Sima family wasn't worried at all. With Sima Yue and Wu Lingyu's status, who would have any objections if they invited the people from the Devil Realm and the Ghost Realm? Wu Lingyu was the Devil Realm's king, Sima Yue's grandfather was the Ghost Realm's king, and he was even an emperor king, so it was natural for the people from the Devil Realm and the Ghost Realm to attend the wedding. At the same time, the Sima family also announced that they were only inviting the people from the Devil Realm and the Ghost Realm to attend the wedding, and didn't have any other intentions. During this period of time, they would restrict the actions of the people from the two realms, and wouldn't let them harm humans. Because of Sima Yue's special status, they had no choice but to do so. If they didn't mind, they could choose not to attend the wedding. At this moment, the people from the Guild Alliance replied that they would definitely attend, and the Ancient Spiritual Beast clan also replied that they would attend. Then, the spiritual beasts from Paramount Valley, Heavenly Sect, and Jiuxingming Ocean would also attend the wedding under the lead of the Violet Water Dragon clan. Then the Yin family of the 49 states, the Su family of the 19 states, the Feng family, the Tuoba family, and other people who had dealings with them all responded. All the bird clans also responded. The divine vermilion bird was Sima Yue's contracted beast. How could they not attend? After a few days, the Feng people of the divine race also announced through the Xianyuan Pavilion that the Feng people and the Xianyuan Pavilion would attend. The legendary Ghost City also expressed that they would come to ask for a glass of wine. Gradually, some people who had interests with the Sima family also expressed that they would attend. After a few months, almost half of the forces in the continent expressed that they would attend the wedding. In the end, it wasn't those people who were worried, but the Sima family. Because many of those who expressed that they didn't send out invitations and didn't intend to invite them in the beginning, but who asked them to say that they were busy, and the invitations might be left out, so they asked everyone not to mind. Everyone was welcome to attend the wedding. In this way, those who didn't have invitations would be able to attend openly. Who knows, we might be the ones you left out. But you don't have to worry, we won't mind. Sima Zhiyuan and the others looked at the pile of people who responded that they would attend, and the corners of their mouths twitched time and time again. 2 months before the wedding, the people from the Devil Realm and Ghost Realm came. The people from the Devil Realm were led by Hong Yuan, and the people from the Ghost Realm were selected by the Ghost King. They were all related to Sima Yue, and they wouldn't be unable to control themselves. Because there were too many people, the Sima family couldn't accommodate them all, and couldn't even accommodate the entire city. They had no choice but to settle them down in a nearby city, so that it would be more convenient for them to attend the wedding. Sima Yue didn't understand the situation outside, because she was held in the courtyard to wait for the wedding. The Sima family kept her secret, and even her beasts kept it a secret. She couldn't even let her scarlet bees go out to investigate. She didn't go out to investigate, and just waited until the day before the wedding. Chapter 2248. As the wedding date approached, many old friends came. Chinemo, a few old friends from the Tuoba family, her classmates in the academy, her brothers and so on. She had been receiving her friends for the past 2 days. You're quite busy. Sima Yue's eyes lit up when she heard a voice that she hadn't heard for a long time. She turned around and saw Qin Qin and Limbo. Qin Qin, Limbo, you're here. Junior martial aunt. Qin Qin walked over and hugged her. Congratulations on your marriage. I hope you don't mind the gift. Sima Yue accepted the gift and pulled her into the house. Limbo followed behind them. How's your stay in the human world? Sima Yue asked. Qin Qin had been in the human world for more than 100 years. It's pretty good. I stayed in Paramount Valley for a while, and then went around with him. Sometimes I'll go back to the ghost world. Although he lost a lot of things, there are still some things that he needs to do, Qin Qin said. Did they come from the ghost world this time? Yes, they came from the hidden sect to bring the news of your marriage back. Your master said that they would come, but they know that you're busy, so they don't need you to entertain them. They can take care of themselves. Qin Qin conveyed their message. She would be very busy when she got married, and she would be the main character. It was impossible for her to have time to entertain others. She could only take care of herself. However, 2 days before the wedding, she heard that they were coming and went to see them. The people from the devil world and the ghost world lived separately. Everyone who came was strictly forbidden from killing the innocent. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to return. Wu Lingyu took care of the devil world. She only showed her face twice and didn't care much. In the ghost world, those who had a good relationship with her came, including little girls like Ting Shan and Ting Shui. With the ghost king in charge, no one dared to mess around in the human world. Every time they went out, they were very polite. This changed the impression of the people in the human world. It turned out that not all the devil world and the ghost world were like this. In the end, some people even became friends with the ghost world and the devil world. This greatly improved the relationship between the 3 clans. 2 days before the wedding, Wu Lingyu announced that he would not send people to invade the human race in the future, so the bloody passage would not appear again. The humans were overjoyed when they heard the news. In the past, everyone would go to the bloody passage to resist the demons and suffer heavy losses. If it didn't exist, it would naturally be a great thing. Because of this contact, the human race's impression of the devil race and the ghost race had greatly changed. Later on, the devil race and the ghost race sent some powerful and upright people to contact Zhuangzi, who had been here before. These people protected and guided the human race to contact the human race. Slowly, the human race began to accept the devil race and the ghost race. At least, they wouldn't attack and kill them whenever they saw them. If there were any conflicts, they would treat them as personal issues, and there wouldn't be any large-scale killings. The 3 races gradually merged. Of course, this was a story for another time. In the blink of an eye, it was time for her wedding. Because they didn't have to travel from one place to another, she and Wu Lingyu would appear together. Early in the morning, she was tortured by Bei Gongtang, Shimen Li Siyu and Han Miaoshuang in the house. It was only now that she felt what Han Miaoshuang and the others felt. What do I have to do later? She asked. You don't have to do anything. Just follow them. Bei Gongtang said with a smile. That's right. Just follow them. When the time comes, you'll naturally know what to do. Sima Yue couldn't win against them, and could only be tortured by them. She changed into the wedding dress that San Yang personally made. Shimen Li helped her tie up her hair, put on the phoenix coronet that Wu Lingyu personally made, and put on exquisite makeup. When everything was done, she looked so dazzling that people couldn't take their eyes off her. So beautiful. Bei Gong Tang said with a smile. She reached out her hand to straighten her wedding dress, and unknowingly, her eyes turned red. Ximen Li's eyes also turned red. It's not like you can't see her after she gets married. You guys are so sad. Siyu was more open-minded. I'm more interested in seeing his expression when he sees you. He definitely won't be able to take his eyes off you. And then he can't wait to snatch you back and hide you. Qin said with a smile. You know so well. Was that what you thought at that time? Sima Yue teased with a smile. I think so. If not, how could you know so well? Ximen Li said with a smile. So what if I did? Aren't you guys the same? Qin wasn't embarrassed at all. Sima Yue also heard from her the day before that she and Wu He had already held their wedding in the ghost realm. It was a pity that she was in a coma and couldn't go back to attend. At this time, Fatty and the others who were guarding outside shouted from the courtyard, "The bridegroom is here!" Then the door was opened. Sima Yue saw Wu Lingyu in his wedding dress, and the two babies beside him. Seeing the amazement in their eyes, she suddenly felt that it was worth it to be tormented for half a day. Mother, you're so beautiful. Wu Xiaodao rushed into Sima Yue's arms and hugged her, looking up and sighing. Sima Yue patted her head. Wu Lingyu really didn't want others to see her like this. If there weren't so many guests outside, he probably would have done so. He sighed in his heart and walked in front of Sima Yue, reaching out his hand to her. The guests are all here. Let's go. Sima Yue smiled at him and put her hand in his palm, allowing him to lead her out of the room and into the future. The two of them stood outside the door. Qi Yan transformed into his original form and circled the courtyard twice before stopping in front of them. Wu Lingyu held her hand and flew onto Qi Yan's back. Qi Yan flew into the air while her beasts all transformed into their original forms and separated on both sides of Qi Yan. A group of phoenixes flew over from the surroundings and surrounded them in the middle. Then Wu Xiaodao and Wu Qiao leaped and landed on the two phoenixes flying in front of Qi Yan. Each of them had a flower basket in their hands. As the two of them scattered the first handful of petals, the whole group started to move. This is strengthening, Wei Ziki exclaimed. That's right, Fatty Chu agreed. Let's go over first. Otherwise, we won't be able to see them arrive. Thus, the group of people flew towards the location of the banquet. Because there were so many people, the Sima family couldn't sit down at all. Thus, they set up a plane outside the city as the wedding venue. Qi Yan and the others wanted to bring her there. When they arrived, Sima Yue realized how grand the wedding was. The vast plain was densely packed with people and tables. It was as if one couldn't see the end of it. There was a red carpet in the middle of these people. Sima Yue thought that they would have to walk over there. Thinking that it would take a long time, Qi Yan continued to fly over with them in the air. Sima Yue's mouth twitched. Was flying over also considered walking the red carpet? You're tuning in to the Echoes of the Heart YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.